There's a time that we used to do wah, wah, wah.
Okay, so we'll see. I understand Man City is hot behind your heels, yeah? But anyway, we'll get to know what happens by the weekend, yeah? That's it?
Yeah.
Victor?
We hope for the best. I mean, EPL is one of the toughest leagues. Let's just be honest. Anything can happen. You lose 2 games, draw 1, and the table turns.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the person you thought was not going to win the league, for example, let's take what happened to Leicester around 3 seasons ago. Where is Leicester right now? That is EPL. So, yeah, but we are very lonely at the top, feeling the breeze.
Okay. Well, it's a game of football. It's a sport, so yeah, anything can happen.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. So thank you once again for joining us. My name is Mariambo, and I'll be taking you through the news this morning. And we begin in Kerio Valley, where the death toll following the mudslides in Chesongoch, Elgeyo Marakwet County has risen to 26. This is after retrieval of 4 more bodies on Sunday in the ongoing search for missing persons. Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen says 25 people are still missing, 21 others are still hospitalized in various hospitals, including the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital. 4 of them are in critical condition. Giverson Maina now brings us details of that story.
A multi-agency team comprising the military, police, disaster management center and humanitarian emergency organizations, including the Kenya Red Cross, have sustained operations in Chesongoch, Elgeyo Marakwet County in the search for 25 persons who are still missing.
Kwa wale ambao bado hawajapatikana 25, of course tuko na wasiwasi sana kwamba wanaweza kuwa wako kwa njia ya hatari.
Assuring the government support, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, who is leading the rescue team on the ground, said the affected community is yet to come to terms with the reality of the tragedy.
Familia moja, kuna familia karibu watu 7 wamepoteza watu 7 safari moja. Hii sio janga ambayo ni kitu rahisi, ni chungu sana.
For those who have been injured, the government of Kenya is going to pay all the hospital bills. For those who have lost their lives, the families who are grieving, the government of Kenya is going to stand with all these families who are grieving at the moment.
According to the Kenya Red Cross, access to affected areas remains a challenge. This necessitating the use of an aerial search through drones and choppers.
In as much as, yes, we are in a response situation, we want to look at long-term measures, and we are going to engage the communities further to ensure that they are moving to safer grounds and avoiding farming on those highlands.
Tumeanza hii kasta moja na tumepata mwili moja na pale tunaendelea mpaka jioni tuone vile itakuwa.
Nasikia ilikuwa 64 years. Mwaka 64 zilizopita ambao janga kama hili lilifanyika.
Currently, displaced families are hosted at Chesongoch Primary School, where they are receiving humanitarian aid in terms of medical supplies, foodstuffs, clothing and shelter. Governor Stephen Sang of Nandi, Jonathan B. of Losingishu, Wesley Rotich of Elgeyo Marakwet, and National Treasury PS Chris Kipto are among leaders mobilizing help for the affected population.
This place is still inaccessible, so we have machines, yes, which came from Losingishu, Kena, Kura. We want to try and see if we can, at least one road can be passable to the scene.
Mimi nataka kuomba nikiwa chairman ya region hii kazi tusaidiane mpaka hii maisha ya hawa watu irudi normal.
And I think most important is to ensure that we deepen our efforts to conserve the environment.
Meanwhile, those living in areas prone to landslides have been urged to relocate as heavy rain continues to pour.
Wabunge wetu mwambie wananchi wale wako kwa miteremko zaidi wasonge katika safer areas.
We have deployed our teams to coordinate together with other ministries, Ministry of Interior, to ensure that the families who have lost their loved ones, we can provide psychosocial support.
Of course, it's all hands on deck as the search and rescue mission still continues. We'll be bringing you up to speed with what is happening in as far as the Chesongoch mudslides are concerned in our subsequent bulletins. Now let's go to New York, where it was a historic day on the streets of New York City as the 2025 New York City Marathon produced one of the most dramatic finishes in the event's history and a powerful Kenyan showcase. Benson Kipruto edged out rivals in the closest men's elite finish ever, while Helen Obere led a commanding Kenyan podium in the women's race.
26.2 grueling miles across all 5 boroughs, the 2025 New York City Marathon came down to a heartbeat. Kenya's Benson Kipruto produced a breathtaking finish, surging at the tape to edge compatriot Alexander Motiso by just 1600ths of a second, the closest men's elite finish in the event's history. Both athletes were credited with the same official time of 2 hours, 8 minutes and 9 seconds, marking the first time a New York City Marathon elite race, men's or women's, has been decided by less than a second.
Potentially working against Sifan Hassan. She has no idea what's coming.
Right, she doesn't. On the women's side, it was a Kenyan total dominance. Helen Obiri led a stunning Kenyan podium sweep and smashed a 22-year-old course record by more than 2 minutes, clocking 2 hours, 19 minutes and 51 seconds. The reigning Boston and New York champion reaffirmed her status as one of the world's greatest marathoners, combining tactical brilliance with raw endurance. From Kipruto's nail-biting sprint to Obiri's record-breaking run, the 2025 New York City Marathon will be remembered as a celebration of endurance, excellence, and Kenya's unshakable pride on the global stage.
Congratulations. I beg your pardon. Congratulations are in order for Kenyan marathoners and our runners for always making us proud. And away from that, President William Ruto concluded a 4-day working tour of Western Kenya counties with a pledge to equitable and inclusive development across the country. On Sunday, the president inspected the construction of the Kakamega Level 6 hospital, where he launched the role of community health promoters.
On his final day of developmental tour in Western Kenya, President William Ruto inspected the construction of Kakamega Level 6 hospital, lauding the current governor Fernandes Barasa for continuing with projects initiated by his predecessor Wycliffe Oparanya and promised to support its completion.
Nimemweleza huyu ndugu yangu Barasa ya kwamba sasa hii hospitali kwa sababu ni kubwa aniwachie, inatoshana na mimi, nitengeneze, nimalize, ndio watu wa Kakamega wapate hospitali level 6.
The head of state also reiterated his commitment to implementing the universal health care and recognized the role played by the community health promoters.
Hatutaki afya iwe ni starehe ya watu matajiri na walio na pesa na walio na kazi. Tunataka afya kulingana na katiba ya Kenya iwe ni haki ya kila Mkenya. Awe na kazi, asiwe na kazi, awe na pesa, asiwe na kazi, maskini na tajiri, sisi wote.
Later, the head of state attended a church service at the African Divine Church at Gamalenga in Hamisi constituency, Vihiga County.
Kuna barabara zilikwama hapa, nimezikwamua zote. Kuna barabara mpya tulikubaliana na hawa viongozi, hizo barabara nimekuja kuzianzisha.
President Ruto promised to continue pursuing affirmative action policies to support regions of the country that have lagged in national development.
Kwa hivyo mimi nawauliza ndugu zangu watu wa hapa Vihiga, tumeweka mpango ya serikali. Hapa Vihiga tunataka tuwajengee nyumba 10,000 na nimekubaliana na hawa ndugu zetu waheshimiwa. Tunataka kujenga ya kwanza hapa Hamisi 1,000.
Further, he outlined some of the projects the government is undertaking in Vihiga to raise living standards in the county.
Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has lauded the late former Prime Minister Raila Odinga for tapping into professionalism when building the Orange Democratic Movement Party. Gachagua says ODM has over the years boasted of having a crop of talented leaders within its ranks. The former DP says it is such ideals that he hopes to entrench within the Democracy for Citizens Party.
The honest man is tonight giving Raila Odinga and the ODM party their flowers. Rigathi Gachagua, who has toned down his criticism of the late former Prime Minister, says Raila Odinga had a knack for political talent.
As we mourn Raila Odinga, I must admit I admire two things about that old man. And I'm really very touched by his leadership. Look at the political party that he built called ODM. A strong political party that though he has never been elected president, he is able to get into every government and get what he wants.
So please feel free, but not just feeling free. Take it as your duty, as your obligation, if only for one reason, to ensure that there's good governance in this country.
We cannot have a country go down the drain while we call ourselves professionals. And so I want to ask that election time, an election is not an event, it is a process.
Gachagua argues that the success of a nation depends on the capacity of its leaders.
But most importantly, his political party, all the legislators are top-notch lawyers. These are the people who have protected Raila Odinga for 30 years. If you look at Raila's team, James Orengo, Otieno Kajwang, late, Omolo Atiende, Karoli Omondi.
The former DP's remarks may have perhaps stemmed from the notion that the Mount Kenya region has, over the years, lowered the political yardstick when electing its leaders.
I want to urge that now prepare that the 55,000 polling stations in this country will be manned by, among others, lawyers, and particularly the young ones.
Come 2027, put up your spirited effort to become a member of parliament, to come and defend the constitution of the day.
I want to propose that we need to create special case. ALSK inafaa kuwa inaleta mtu bunge for free ili iweze kukua iko represented pale na inaweza kuangalia hizo masheria vizuri.
The United Opposition says it will guard the vote and give Kenyans the finest crop of leaders come 2027. This is the Orange Democratic Movement Party leadership, while in Magarini constituency, campaigning for the party candidate Harrison Kombe maintained that the party will retain its identity during the upcoming November by-elections, despite being in the broad-based government arrangement.
Sisi ni ODM, lakini candidate wetu Harry Kombe anaungwa mkono na chama zote za broad-based, ambaye hapa ni UDA na PA.
Tunamrudishia Kombe tikiti ya chama cha ODM, maanake tunamwamini kwa kazi ambayo anaweza kuwafanyia nyinyi kama wananchi wa Magarini. Hakukuwa na nomination tena, tulimpea direct ticket kuonyesha heshima ambaye tuko nayo kwenu na ile imani ambaye tuko nayo ya kwamba anaweza kufanya kazi hii.
The politicians spoke even as Kenyans were urged to shun divisive politics and embrace tribal diversity as a means to socio-economic prosperity.
Nina huzuni sana ya kwamba mpaka century ya saa hii kuna watu ambao ni viongozi katika taifa letu la Kenya, lakini kazi yao kila siku wamechukua fursa hiyo kueneza chuki, kueneza mgawanyiko.
Hiyo maneno ya mtandao watu wanaitumia na kuidhulumu. Kwa hiyo maneno ya TikTok, kuna pornography, just avoid those things. They are demonic and it is harming our youth, and we must tell you because it's not advisable, it is not right, and we must condemn.
Ngujiri said the Kenyan youth cannot afford to succumb to the vile rhetoric being advanced by politicians who are hell-bent on balkanizing the country ahead of the 2027 general election.
Range reporting there. To matters education, where pupils from the Learning Hub School in Malindi, Kilifi County, have taken the lead in combating beach pollution. Through their Eco Club, the learners have embarked on an ambitious project of installing plastic waste disposal bin bags along the stretch covering Watamu Beach and the Malindi Marine Park. The young environment champions are hopeful that this project will restore the beach to its long-lost glory of cleanliness, white sands, and turquoise waters. Take a look.
The beaches of Malindi in Kilifi County have in the past years been celebrated for their long stretches of white sandy shores, clear waters and a vibrant marine life. These qualities have played a critical role in boosting the county's economic gains through tourism. However, the once pristine beaches are staring at a problem that is threatening their identity. Pollution is fast becoming a problem, and if not addressed, there are fears that the repercussions may be irreversible. These young learners, members of the Eco Club at the Learning Hub School in Malindi, are determined to restore the coastline to its former glory. With the help of their tutors, they are constructing these eco-friendly plastic waste disposable bin bags to be placed along the coastline.
You can just throw the trash in and it will reduce at least the number of cases of maybe when trash gets into the ocean or maybe dirty environments, as we need to follow the SDG number 14, life underwater and life on land.
The idea for these bin bags was born from the realization that the absence of permanent waste bins rendered efforts done during the cleanups short-lived, necessitating a more sustainable response. Through a partnership with the Kenya Wildlife Service, local conservationists and the Malindi municipality, the Eco Club implemented this sustainable waste management model.
How we can help in conserving the environment is participating in multiple activities like creation of bins to help and like segregation bins to separate waste like paper waste, organic waste, plastic waste, inorganic materials as well.
And also we are sensitizing the community, creating community awareness so that it does not become an initiative of the school, but the community are also going to own up the project.
Despite the simplicity of their design, the bin bags carry an important message and collective responsibility, with members of the community being encouraged to use them. Authorities on their part ensure regular maintenance and proper transportation of the collected waste to recycling facilities.
Wakenya wote ambao wanatembea baharini kwamba wakitembea baharini wahakikishe kwamba plastiki ambao wanatumia kukunywa maji wamehifadhi vizuri, wasitupe ovyo ovyo. Wakipata hili chombo waweke hapa.
It's a simple tool but a very important tool, because with this then even the community can help in placing the waste materials that are used or that are found alongside the coastal shores.
Teachers at Learning Hub School say the project has evolved into a dynamic interdisciplinary learning experience. Learners not only study environmental patterns, but also sharpen their scientific reasoning, data analysis, communication, and report writing skills.
The aspect of mapping, getting the length of the beach and knowing where to place the bins, the photography of the beach area.
Hailed as a step towards the right direction, environmental conservationists say this initiative is more than just a school project. They say these youngsters are teaching the community a lesson in responsibility, innovation, and creation of actionable solutions that will be beneficial in the long term.
We now head to Tanzania, where Tanzania's main opposition party, Chadema, has rejected the election results announced by the National Electoral Commission, where Samia Suluhu was declared the winner. The party, led by Tundu Lissu, who was charged with treason and locked out of the elections through its X account, says the results have no basis in reality, saying no genuine election took place in Tanzania.
The Electoral Commission said Samia Suluhu won 98% of the votes, nearly sweeping the 32 million ballots cast in Wednesday's election. International observers have expressed concern over the lack of transparency and widespread turmoil that has reportedly left hundreds of people dead and hundreds injured. The country witnessed a nationwide internet shutdown and a dusk to dawn curfew declared in a bid to quell the unrest that followed the elections. Samia Suluhu took power in 2021 after the death in office of her predecessor John Pombe Magufuli. Samia Suluhu is expected to be sworn into office in Dodoma for a second term.
And communities in Mandera County can now conduct peace-building initiatives more effectively after receiving motorbikes from Interpeace non-governmental organizations. Speaking during the handover event, Interpeace Program Director Mahat Omar said the donation is part of ongoing efforts to promote lasting peace and stability in Mandera through community-led interventions.
Hii ni ya mambo ya amani. Umepatiwa ili wewe unachunga na kufanya kazi ya amani. Wazee walituambia kila wakati tunataka gari, hatuna pikipiki, hatuna hii. Sasa tukasema acha tufanye bidii ili tuweze kuwapatia. Kila sehemu at least tumeweza kugawanya na iweze kwenda.
Na bila amani sidhani kama tunaweza kuwa na hiyo maendeleo katika kaunti yetu. Kwa hivyo tuweke bidii kila mahali penye tuko, tuweke bidii na tuweza kuleta amani katika kaunti yetu.
Hawa wazee wetu ama hawa timu wetu wenye wamepewa pikipiki katika hizo corridors, hotspot corridors zile zimemenshoniwa, nataka kuwaambia mtumie hiyo resource mzuri sana. Kwa sababu tulisema local peace structures wako na challenges mingi sana ya funding, wanakuwa na shida na funding, na hiyo pia mambo na clan conflicts. So at least hata kama ni kidogo ya mobilization kidogo sasa imekuwa isen kidogo.
A look at sports now, where more than 20 coaches from Nairobi took part in the introductory coaching training held in Buruburu here in Nairobi. According to FKF Nairobi East Branch Chairman Dixon Doyle, the move is aimed at contributing to overall improvement of quality of football in the country if the knowledge gained is properly applied.
Coaching course ndo pia nijue venye naweza handle wachezaji huku nje. Juu naweza penda pia time na hang boots niweze kuwa na coach my young players wenye wana upcome. Makochi wengi huku nje wanafanya vitu just because walikuanga players, but sasa ukikam class unapata vitu tunadu si vitu unafaa kuona do mtaani. Nipo ukikam classes unapata kujua more zaidi about coaching course.
Nimelearn a lot more about football. Venye football naweza handle youth from under 5 to under 17. Na pia imenisaidia venye naweza plan my training, kuhandle training session.
Ni muhimu sana kwa wale watu ambao wanashikilia vijana wadogo kuwa na ile basic knowledge ya coaching. At least wanajua vitu zenye wanafaa wafanye wakiwa bado wachanga, kwa sababu wakianza kupata wakiwa wadogo, then ikifika katika kiwango fulani inakuwa wale watoto tayari wamepata ile knowledge na wanaweza practice zile vitu zenye walifunzwa, kwa sababu walianza wakiwa mapema. Na hiyo itaweza kufanyika ikiwa wale wenye wanawashikilia pia wako na hiyo elimu yenye wanafaa kupitisha kwa watoto wetu wachanga.
The Leopards clawed their way to third place in the FKF Premier League after a convincing 2-0 victory over Mathare United at the Nyayo National Stadium. Second half goals from Vincent Mahiga and James Kinyanjui sealed the win for the 12-time champions, who stretched their unbeaten run to 6 league matches. The Slum Boys made 3 changes from the side that faced Gor Mahia in their previous outing, but couldn't find a way past the resilient Leopards. Elsewhere, league leaders Kakamega Homeboys were held to a 1-1 draw by Tusker FC, while Gor Mahia also shared the spoils with Ulinzi Stars in a similar scoreline. Kenya Police and Posta Rangers battled to a goalless draw as Moranga Seal aged KCB 2-1. Bidco United settled for a 0-0 stalemate with APS Bomet, Homeboys remain top of the standings with 14 points, one clear of second place Gor Mahia.
Anaomba radhi James Kinyanjui, amevaa uzi wa Mathare United, lakini sasa anaomba radhi baada ya kuwafunga, baada ya kuchoma shule na vyeti vyote. Anaomba msamaha, lakini anasherehekea Freda Mbani.
Well, that's where we wrap up the news this morning. Thank you as always for your time and your company. My name is Maria Mo, and just about now we take a break, but Victor Lo will be back with the rest of Good Morning Kenya.
Kuja home tena.
Elijah, uko wapi Aki?
Ninajua tu akuji, twende tukalale.
Kwani una mpango wa kuniangamizia hapa?
Ha. Wewe ndo umejitakia, sio mimi.
Wewe unafanya nini hapa wewe?
Inasema hiyo swali ni moja. Ndani ya yeye akona ndani yako.
Hata wanzangu wakinichongoa.
Cindy.
Mama Kenti nisaidie.
Unachokuna wewe wamenikimbiza.
Mimi sitaki maneno mengine mingi Mogaka, ni pesa nataka.
Sahi.
Nauliza aje? Kichele pande yako come through.
Hawa si walipikwa marata.
You are looking at the new Kung Fu master. Sakarunge.
Imposter.
Hao watu ni mawatuanga.
Wamepita na ngapi? Usiniulize maswali ieleweki.
Very disappointed in you. Yaani unaacha mwanamke peke yake kwa vita. Wala walikuwa waibi. Unaweka tactic. Now you poke. Ini distraction. Yes. Mogako umeningoa meno. Njiri una meno ya juu. Nimeimesa.
President, Dr. Chung got shot. Huh? Never asked anyone to cut corners, and I never will.
Wipe his face!
They're here!
Defibrillator, 200. Clear!
Welcome back. It's now 4 minutes past 7 a.m. Welcome back to the program. It's a beautiful Monday, the first Monday of the month of November 2025. We are slowly coming to the end of the year. So far, so good. All right, so let's get into it and talk about politics and current affairs, what's happening in the country, and of course across our borders, because that's what matters as well. I have Peter Mutua Mutuku, who is governance and leadership expert. He's also the gentleman responsible for service delivery in this beautiful county of Nairobi City. Good morning.
Good morning to you and viewers, and get my name right, is Peter Mutuku Mutua, not the other way.
All right.
The Peter Mutua Mutuku is a foreigner.
Thank you.
Yeah, please,
Asante
get it
sana.
right.
I have Honorable Peter Orero, who is the lawmaker representing the great constituency of Kibra, also in this great county of Nairobi. Mheshimiwa, good to see you as well. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yes, it's been quite some time before being on set.
Yeah, you know what has been going on in the country.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll get to talk about that shortly. But how about we go through the front page of the local dailies? Let me start with you, Peter. What do you have? I have two Peters here. So today I'll have to separate Mwalimu and Peter. That will be okay. All right. So let me start with you, Peter. What's on the front page of the Star newspaper? Just hold it up to the camera. Read it out for us.
TZ, meaning Tanzania, an arrest cuts food supplies to Kenya and disrupts trade.
Endelea. What are the other headlines on the front page? Continue.
ODM plays hardball, complicates President Ruto's 2027 game plan.
Okay.
And down there, we can see the president on extensive development tour of Western region. That's what we have on Star newspaper.
Very good. So what do you make of the front page? Of course, you know, they held their elections last week, and a lot has been talked about. But based on what you've seen on the front page of the Star newspaper, go ahead.
Well, it tells you that, look at this, Tanzania, fruits and vegetable stocks run out over insecurity.
Yes.
First of all, that is a wake-up call that as Kenyans, we move from comfort zone of not tilling our lands and doing proper agriculture, because the climate that is in Tanzania, the soils and so forth, are just as the ones we have in this country.
Yeah.
First of all, this is one, the disruption causes us to think and go back to the drawing board. That if there is something that is happening in Tanzania, we are likely to suffer food shortages, as we are is said here, and also it also tells us to awake to fact that things are changing, that the world has become a global village, that something happening in Nepal can happen in Tanzania. So we need where we were comfortable. We need to go back to the drawing board and rethink our policies, our politics, and so forth. Thank you.
All right, but what about the elections? 31 million people out of 32 million people voting? Well, just a close, almost 700,000 people did not vote. What do you make of that election process altogether?
They said it was 31 million.
Yeah.
Versus 37, not 32. 37 million. Well, it was announced and they declared so. So from where I sit, I'll have a little to discuss about it. What concerns me most is that there is no peace in Tanzania. There is a problem in Tanzania. I met with another gentleman yesterday and told me things in Tanzania are hard. We tried calling people in Tanzania. We could not get through because people need to know. Tanzania and Kenya is like if I live, for example, in Kibra, it's probably that I have a relative in Langata or I have a relative in Starehe. So somehow we have relatives and friends in Tanzania. And when it reached a point that we could not get, to communicate with them, the anxieties were too much. And as the question you're asking about that 1 million and then registered voters at that 7, some of these things are hard to explain, because I do not know where on earth, because that 1 out of that 7 is almost 90%. And we are seeing, unless the media were lying to us, that the voter turnout was very low. People didn't even want to vote because they believed that the leading opposition leaders were denied their chance to vote. So these ones, we leave it to the Tanzanians. If they are comfortable with it, let them live with what they have chosen. Because it will be very difficult for me to think for them, decide for them, and even advise them and start wailing here or crying here and saying it wasn't fair if they feel it is fair. Yeah.
Mwalimu, it's only a person who doesn't care who will go to bed while his neighbor's house is on fire. You will have to be a little bit concerned and have some bucket of water to help put out the fire.
I was going through some media comments yesterday. One caught my eye that can you imagine Tanzania have counted the votes in 48 hours na wanatumia Kiswahili moja mbili. Na unajua the way they talk slowly, tatu ine. For 48 hours they have counted 31 million votes. And you know, Kenya, we have, compared to our neighboring countries, our level of the digital platform, the ICT, is not comparable. So I think those results also leaves a lot to be desired, in my own opinion. And given the fact that during the campaigns, some of the most prominent opposition leaders, some were jailed, some were arrested, people complained, but nobody lent a listening ear. And this is basically reflected after, immediately just before the casting of the votes. And people dissented. And many people, you could see the ballot papers were banned even before the election. It is not after the election. So you can imagine that people were not even prepared to vote for the system. And going by the reviews that we have seen to our neighbors, in my constituency, I can tell you that those who are selling clothes in Toy Market and even along the Karanja Road, most of them are Tanzanians. We are very accommodative as Kenyans, and we take them as our neighbors. But I think this term, towards the end of the leadership of Suluhu, she has become an authoritative, bureaucratic, and autocratic leader. That means that she is almost being a dictator in a region where the leadership has always been very, very democratic and agreeable. I would not hesitate to comment on our neighbors' kind of leadership styles, because as we talk to Kenyans in our neighboring country, most Kenyans who have been working very well over 15 years in Tanzania have lost their job. She has also brought certain policies that deny Kenyans to carry out certain basic jobs in their country. Yet here in Kenya, we are very, very accommodative. We have accommodated our neighbors. And as things stand now, if things are not corrected, then we are going to have a legacy problem in our neighboring country.
I think this one goes back to you as a legislature, when you resume from recess, to have some of these questions on the floor of the House, because we do not have any problem with any foreigner unless you go against the law of the land. But you've, as correctly you've put it, you are accommodating Tanzanians in your constituency.
And not just that.
Yes.
For us who interact with the lower cadre, those selling sweets in this town, those who have kinyozi, and many other aspects of life in town here are foreigners. You will find Burundi there, you will have Tanzanians there, you will have Rwandese there. Those who are selling tea, you know, people move selling tea, are not Kenyans. It means that Kenya, as a country, we are the most accommodative country, not just in this region, but almost everywhere else. Go to our neighboring Tanzania, Rwanda, Kenya, Tanzania, Burundi. You will rarely find any Kenyan in those lower cadre jobs. This is not reflected in some of our neighboring countries. I have been to Tanzania many times. I've been to Uganda, Rwanda many times. But the life in Tanzania has drastically changed since the current head of state in Tanzania took over. She's trying, of course, most of these countries try to compete Kenya. But we are a bigger economy. People must understand, even the kind of democratic space that we have created in this country is not comparable to any other country neighboring us.
We have discussed this front page of the Star newspaper. Let me come back to the front page of the Standard. The Tanzania massacre is almost the same thing that we're discussing, Tanzania massacre. And the lady in the middle is the president. That is President Samia Suluhu. And most of the photos are in black and white for all the obvious reasons. And the Standard says that if Mwalimu Julius Nyerere were to return to the nation he built on the ideals of African unity, he would be horrified. As Tanzania's first female president fought to secure her own mandate, blood flowed across the land. Cut off from the world during and after polling, Tanzania's endured what rights groups now describe as a bloodbath that was hidden behind an official blackout but laid bare through protest shared with their Kenyan counterparts. That is on the front page of the Standard newspaper. It's in black and white. That is what I have here. More or less the same thing that we are discussing on the front page of the Star. Very quickly, on the EDA pages, talk about KCSE candidates begin written exams today amid tight security. That is what I have here. Mwalimu Morero will talk about that. The exercise concluding on November 21st as well will test more than 900,000 candidates, and Kenya National Examinations Council has assured the candidates logistical measures that are in place for smooth and credible process. That is what is here on the inner pages. And finally, on still on the Tanzania Pulse, AU Commission accused of uploading carnage. Rights groups and opposition estimate that as many as 1,000 people have so far been killed, and activists say that there is a scheme by the state to steal evidence and muzzle the truth. Tanzania hit by more protests, deaths and riots, and they have accused police police actually have struggled to contain escalating anti-government protests sweeping major cities in Tanzania, while protesters raided state installations and homes of perceived presidential loyalists. So that is what is here. It's actually the story that continues to the inner pages of the Standard newspaper. But let me come back, gentlemen, and talk about the question about Mheshimiwa, you've not gone through the front page of the Daily Nation. Go ahead.
Oh,
yeah. What is on the front page?
Oburu says it is DP, that is Deputy President, or nothing. And the landslide is there.
Yeah.
And they say Oburu has drawn a bold red line in Kenya's post-Raila Odinga politics, declaring that the party will not settle for anything less than the deputy president seat in 2027.
Yeah.
For both President Ruto and the United Opposition, this proposition comes with some tough and consequential political arithmetic.
Go ahead.
The other is just devastation as landslide death toll climbs to 26.
That is in Gilmar Marakwet.
Yes.
Okay, so let me come back to you, Mheshimiwa. You are a life member of ODM, and I think ever since Mheshimiwa Honorable Odinga passed on, we've not been on this show. The last time we were here before that, and today we are meeting almost 3 weeks or so later. How did you receive that news? Let me start from there. I think it's fair.
Wow. I can't explain. You know, the last time I was here, you asked me the question about Raila's health, because there were speculations that time. And I think I told you that a day before that we had just spoken, and he was in very high spirits. Very high spirits. His voice has really changed. You know, before he went, his voice was a bit hoarse.
Yeah.
And when we talked, the voice was very, very clear, as a sign that he was recuperating very well. And there were no signs that what happened would have happened. So I was in a great shock of what happened. And you know that he was my voter. I'm the only MP that he voted for in the last general election. And I remember when he voted for me, he made an elaborate statement in Luo, said, Jakonyanga Seluthoni. That means that he had voted for me that day. And to me, his votes could count for even over 30,000 votes.
Yeah.
Because he was not just an icon, he was not just a great politician, but he was one that people would listen and understand. So, one, I lost a big friend, a great friend for many years, but also I lost a voter, patriotic voter, that ensured he woke up every time that voting was going to occur and voted. So that is the state, and we have not recovered. We are still grieving. Apart from the family members, the most affected people in this country are the Kibra people.
Yeah.
Because they have lived with him for many years as an MP, the longest serving MP for the Langata Kibra constituency, for over 20 years. That is where he started his political career as a legislator. Others were just people who was concerned about the democratic space. But where he began his politics, real politics now, was the wider Langata constituency where Kibra was. And you know how Kibra people have lived with Raila. And I can tell you, the whole of this country, Raila, where he talked with the people, mostly apart from the family, are Kibra people. He could call anybody, a sweeper, a vendor, a tout. Every day he had to talk with the people of Kibra, including.
Okay.
So I think it was a very devastating moment for us, and still is, because we are still coming to terms of what he stood for. Because everybody else here cherished the ideals and ideologies and the political beliefs of his Right Honorable, the late Raila Amolo Odinga.
Let me get the voice of Peter. I had to give him that chance, Peter. He's a life member of ODM, and of course he's voter, as he's correctly put it. And I think the last conversation we had just outside the studio, last time we were here, is that you had a conversation with him the previous day and all that when it happened. Since then, we've not talked until yesterday when I called him. We've not talked. Now, let me come back to you, Peter. Now, all this is happening, and based on what you've seen of the front page of the Star newspaper and now the Daily Nation, it seems that politics has started to gain momentum. Go ahead.
Not really momentum.
Yeah, with Sifuna speaking and now the acting party leader now also speaking.
You see, let it go into record that when ODM was formed, I was one of the pioneer members to the extent.
Oh, really?
To the extent.
Yes.
I was the returning officer for ODM elections in Kangundo constituency.
Okay.
And after the election 2007, myself and my family members, we also suffered as a result of being members of ODM. I remember one day, I'll come to this about ODM.
Go ahead.
Coming from home, when I could not, that time I didn't have money to fuel my car. I had to borrow, some fare. Then I was dropped around Haile Selassie Junction at Huru Park. Then I needed to pass through Huru Park. And because I was wearing the cargo cape that was associated with the late Raila Amolo, the security forces stopped me. And I had to produce my ID to identify myself. Upon identifying myself, the officer asked me, then why are you wearing this kufia? And you don't belong to those people. So ODM, I'm trying to tell you that, and everybody that is listening to us, that ODM was not and is not a regional party. And all of us that were in ODM, we were in ODM because of Raila that time. So the ones who are left, they have to give us a reason why we should remain in the political party that is called ODM, because there is a way that we were treated, that we felt that we belong, and the party never belonged to a certain region. Now coming to your question, it is common, effect if the big person is gone. You don't know when you have people around you who have personal interests, who have national interest, and who have party interest. You can see now some of the members, they are not speaking as the others. The others who are feeling that it's my time to tell people that was very close, this is what I was told by Baba, and this is not what was said. This will continue for some time until the Peter Oreros and others call to order the leadership of the party and tell them it's not time to talk about what position we are going to have in 2027. It's time to make sure the political party ODM is strong and focused so that it can retain its national outlook. Otherwise, if it's late like this, that people can speak the way they want, depending on where they are speaking from, and who has been called by who, and who has not been called by who, it will lose the agenda, the direction that the party leader of ODM, one Raila Amolo Odinga, what he had envisioned. Because you find this is a party that, look at even the deputies, look at the deputy party leaders. One was from Coast, another one from Western, and another one from South Nyanza. So it tells you he had a vision of making this political party. And if it were possible to have 47 deputy party leaders, he would have spread them across the country. So, but these people who are now talking, in a manner that they are not agreeing or respecting the interim authority, it may gradually grow to a situation where we are going to have different formations, different factions of ODM.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. But Mashima, let me ask you this question straight. Is there a split in ODM? Are you speaking from different quarters? When Sifuna, based on what Sifuna has said and based on what Daktari Oburu has also said, has Oburu spoken the mind of ODM finally, based on what's on the front page of the Daily Nation?
Now, of course, ODM still is a very united political party. Of all these parties, where there is freedom of speech, basically, and where it has been built through over a period of time, is ODM. Normally, when you want to know the position of ODM, is a statement from the secretary, either after a NEC meeting or a central committee meeting. Just like last week, I think Sifuna read a statement where the NEC had met and the central committee, and he gave what had been discussed about the party. And those are now the kind of statement that will carry the aspirations of our political party. However, when Sifuna goes out and makes a statement, now that is his personal statement. As a politician, everybody is free to make a personal statement about the party and not the party position. So it is upon the Kenyans to digest and see really which one correlates with the party position that Sifuna read when there was either a NEC meeting or a central committee meeting. Oburu now is the party leader. Is just like Raila Amolo Odinga. And I think what we are saying is that as a political party, world over, political parties are used to acquire power.
Yes.
If you form a political party and you have no reason that you want to acquire power, then you have no business being in politics. Politics is about acquisition of power, so that you implement your policies and ideologies that govern the tenets of either democracy or why your political party was formed. So essentially, as ODM member, we must have a vision. And what is our vision?
And the vision is what Dr. has said.
So he is saying that, one, ODM is formed to acquire power. And all the years you have fielded a presidential candidate. But now that we are also in a broad-based government, we had agreed on a 10-point agenda that should be looked into. And we assess whether the 10 points agenda have been fulfilled. So I understand his position because he's leading a political party that is supposed to acquire power. So he's saying that it is either we field a presidential candidate, and if we have to work with other political parties, he is putting his cards on the table. He's saying for us to work with you, because we have a large and a vast number of support within this country.
Yes.
And our ideology is known. We are the longest political party that is still existing in this region. So he's saying if it is not the presidential candidate, then we can only settle for deputy president. And that should be the position of our political party.
According to me, from what I can understand, Peter, is that before you take a break, they have already settled for something. From what I can see or from what I can hear is like ODM has already settled for something. That if you don't have a presidential candidate, then there is a card that you're floating for whoever will give you that position of a DP. That's what I can hear. Okay.
You know, yes, Peter, I am Mwalimu.
We don't have Uji, we have tea. I want to serve you tea.
That Uji. So I was waiting for Peter to respond.
No, this is Mwalimu, I am Peter.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me serve the two Peters some tea. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Got the fear of missing out? Want to keep up with all the latest entertainment news and latest celebrity gossip? From the latest rumors to popping events to the newest fashion trends, here is where you get all the tea or juice when it comes to entertainment, and you get it served on time. All that and so much more on Grapevine every single Monday only on KBC Channel 1. Remember, if you did not see it on Grapevine, then it most probably never happened.
Kila mwisho wa juma hapa katika runinga yako ya KBC Channel 1 tunakuletea Mkulima.
Mkulima ni kipindi cha kila mtu, mkulima mdogo, mkubwa, mnunuzi, muuzaji na pia anayenuia kuanza kilimo.
Kuanzia kwa mbinu bora na za kisasa za kilimo, ufugaji,
kukupa fursa za biashara, kuongeza dhamana hadi teknolojia zinazorahisisha kilimo.
Mkulima Kisasa inakupa wewe maarifa, motisha na suluhu za kukuza mazao,
kuongeza kipato na pia kulisha taifa kwa jumla.
Tunafeed nchi, tunafeed watoto wetu na tunafeed Europa na tunaweka pesa mfukoni.
Tazama Mkulima kila Jumamosi saa 10:30
kwenye runinga ya taifa.
Mkulima, tuko hapa kwa ajili yako,
ambapo fursa na kilimo zinapatana.
Welcome back. Just getting an apology from the Deputy Governor of Mandera. He was to be here, but yeah, we all know how it happened. So he sent his apology. He's not going to make it. He's held up in a meeting somewhere in the city center with security officers somewhere. So let's accept his apology. But the show has to continue. It's doing very well. So let me come back with you, Peter Mutuku. So now, a question that I asked, does it mean that ODM has already made peace with everything around it, around the party. And so should the party members accept and move on?
Well, I'll go back and allow me to entertain a different approach and thought for Mwalimu.
Around, go ahead.
And say that when Sifuna speaks, he does not speak for himself. He speaks for the party because he's a secretary general. And after Mwalimu said, I decided to go to this Star newspaper on page 12 and see what Sifuna said. And he repeats that being broad-based is not a political party. So they won't be allowed to campaign.
What does it say? If you can just pick that line. Let's
Let me check. It starts with Ruth.
Okay.
There is a... Let me look for it. Speaking in Mombasa, Ruth Odinga said ODM will approach the polls as an independent party. I want you to know that Baba kept reminding me that the party must remain strong. Even in coming polls tomorrow, Sunday, we will be heading to Magarini for campaigns. We are going there as ODM, Ruth said. There is no party called broad-based. The same applies to Malava and other areas where we have by-elections. And it's like in that meeting, they were trying to show that even the joint, because they have mentioned it here, when the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya went to Kaspulka Bondo with his UDA brigade, and they were campaigning for the ODM candidate, they were saying that it was not very welcome in the political party. When such signals are sent, then it shows you that what we get out here is not what happens behind the scenes. Behind the scenes, there is no comfort in the sense that whatever Sifuna speaks, he speaks and puts it, and he adds some strength by saying, when we were in Manzoni, Raila told us that in 2027 we are going to have a presidential candidate. And he keeps on saying, like, for example, as a party, if we decided to field our party leader, for example, Oburu or Abdul Swamad, Mombasa governor, or other party leaders, then people will go home. Even if you decide to have your secretary general on the ballot, we will win in the morning, Sifuna said. You see, when he says that in the presence of Oburu, he says that in presence of other political party leaders, and somewhere in a retreat. And that whatever he says, it finds space and place in the public, and it's written as it is written. Then only a person who is not properly equipped would assume that is not the position of the party leader. That's not the position of the party. So, because you see, Oburu says this, Sifuna says this, Ruth says this, and other people say this. I think that confusion, even if we defend it here, is not healthy for ODM.
Okay, it's not healthy for ODM. But Mheshimiwa Peter, I think that is how politics is being played. And I'm so sure you are enjoying the confusion, the quote unquote.
You know, when I listen to him, now that I'm in the political space, I'm just thinking he's missing the point, because that is now the real politics that people require.
Confuse them.
We must be able to speak in that manner. And 2 years is a long time. I can tell you that we cannot say that in 2027 this is what is going to happen. In politics, even a day is long enough. I want to give you a narration. During the nomination of Baringo Senate, the election that is going on in Baringo, everybody, a week before that nomination, nobody would have thought that Moi Gideon would not have contested that seat. I am not saying he was a weak candidate. He was among very popular candidates for that seat this time. But on that nomination day, he did not take his papers. After everybody else thought that he was going to be the incoming senator for Baringo. And that tells you that in politics, a day is long enough. Everything else can change. So when you hear our ODM members express themselves in public about the position of ODM, then we take them as such, because politics, everybody else, you are free to express yourself. And you know we are paid to talk.
Yeah.
That is where we earn our living. So I believe that the Secretary General can speak his mind. Ruth Odinga, who is also the women rep of Kisumu, can speak her mind, as well as Oburu, who is now the party leader. But I can tell you that 2 years is a long time. But what I can say, since we formed the ODM party, we have never failed to field a presidential candidate.
So what's in the DNA of ODM?
The DNA in terms of political maturity or in terms of political development. But we are saying that what we are known of as a political party, that we are a party which has stabilized this country and which has created a democratic space in this country more than any other political party. And we are known that ODM is the most democratic movement that we have within our country.
Very good.
And therefore, we must, this DNA that you are talking about, you know DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, it contains traits that can be passed from a generation to a generation. So we are talking about our political DNA.
Yes.
That is the policies that we govern our political party.
I mean, let me just ask you again, this to all of you. Now, the gentleman who should, if any, based on this newspaper, should be the Deputy President Kithure Kindiki, Peter Mutuku.
What about him?
If the assertion by party leader Oburu Oginga is that the only thing that ODM, at least what they can settle for, is the deputy position's seat, then the Deputy President Kithure Kindiki must be a very worried man.
Well, I respect Oburu. He's an elder, he's a statesman, and thank God that for this time and this season, in the wisdom or lack of it, of ODM top guns, decided that he's the interim party leader. And while respecting him, I also want to support his assertions. Because saying that ODM is the minimum, the bare minimum that is going to settle for is DP. There is nothing wrong with that. Let me tell you, Victor, while you are hosting us, somebody somewhere is wishing that you are the host. He was the host. So you must up your game that whenever you face competition, whoever makes decision in this organization, you will always be an automatic pick to remain. So this is nothing, it's not nothing, it's democratic right for ODM either to say we are going to have either a presidential candidate, and should we not, then the minimum that we are going to settle. Those people who are thinking of us joining hands with us, just as you plan and you think, just know the minimum that will make us join hands with you is the position of deputy president. So if there is somebody somewhere who feels uncomfortable with that statement, it is uncalled for, because the elections are going to be in 2027, and in between now and 2027, as my namesake has said, many things could change, and even the ones who decide to be deputy, they could be the leaders, and the ones who are leaders could be the deputies. So many things would change. And you know, back to ODM and the DNA of ODM, because I'm a founder member of ODM. ODM was founded on the principles of being rational. A party that is rational to the extent it could understand that a loss is a loss, whether fair or not fair. Bottom line is a loss. And now that we have lost election, whether fair or not, what next? And then it's the only party in this country that they have the capacity to think rationally and started the famous handshakes. And from the famous handshakes, peace was restored. And of course, like now the recent one, you've seen people who had never thought of becoming CSs or, you know, growing to the highest, position in politics of becoming a CS. Today they are CSs because ODM was rational, it is rational, and I hope the current leadership will maintain that trait of being rational.
Okay. I was listening to some program somewhere, and some gentleman said, name withheld, that the center is not going to hold for ODM until 2027. I come back to you, Peter.
The Center for ODM, those are naysayers, and even when you hear people talk about to have a presidential candidate, a DP position, this is in 2027. That's how ODM is rational. And in respect of our fallen leader, great man, Raila Amolo Odinga, whose shoes or character many will not fit in this generation, we should, because it matters the last words that person says before he leaves this world. And the last word was broad-based to remain until 2027. So it cannot be otherwise. Disintegrations may happen thereafter, but not between now and 2027. And again, whoever was saying that may be not a typical African like me. As Africans, we respect the wishes of the people, while what they said while they are on this earth, we respect it. And the wishes were, it holds until 2027, thereafter we will think otherwise.
Great. Is there a scare of a case of separation or split within the Orange Democratic movement?
Today, I want to say that people did not know that Dr. Oburu is so magnanimous that he is almost trying to fit in the shoes of his brother. You have seen in the last 1 week how he has operated. He has operated with a lot of patriotism. He has operated with a lot of wisdom. And some of his earliest statements is that he wants the ODM to hold together. He has gone out of his way to meet some of the people that the ODM thought were rebels. They were expressing their minds within the ODM political party. You saw Dr. Buru meet Babu Owino.
Yes.
He has also met Sifuna. He has met other party leaders. He is trying to make sure that the ODM holds together. And that is one of the qualities of a good leader. We are starting to see the kind of qualities that he has and his kind of leadership styles. And I believe that Oburu, just like his brother, has something to offer to Kenyans in this short period that he is acting as the party leader. And since he took over, the party is beginning to be rejuvenated. You have seen more people talk about the ODM as a political party. As they are campaigning down in Mombasa, you are seeing that we are getting the headlines as a political party. And that means that Oburu himself will be able to make sure that this party does not split until 2027. Thereafter, as a political party, I know he will pronounce, and we will pronounce the political party.
If we had a chance with him, he would not tell us the kind of a person he is. But what kind of a leader is Dr. Buru? Of course, they're so different from Honorable Raila Odinga, but what kind of a person is he? You've been with him for far too long.
Yeah, of course, I have known Dr. for some times, although I was very close with the former. Their traits are almost the same, but he shoots directly. He never hides his mind. He shoots straight. The former prime, you would not know really what was behind his thoughts.
His next move.
His next move will never be known until you see it coming on that day. He was a master planner behind the scenes. That was his greatest trait. Master planner behind the scenes, never rested at night. But you see, his brother shoots straight and speaks his mind. and straightforward. What he talks about is what he will implement. He is never 50-50 on something. When he doesn't like it, he will say, no, this one is not right. And when you cheat him, he will say, you cheated me. I don't like you. So he is somebody who talks straight, as far as I know. So what you see and what we hear him speak is what he believes in.
Okay. So, Peter, I mean, based on what we're seeing right now, and I like the conversation, the ODM party is celebrating 20 years of existence. The campaigns, the activations across the country is happening. But then the scare of the cracks within the party, he said that the party is going to stay intact until 2027 and all that. But then when you come to the whole bit of ODM, do you think, based on what people have been saying, that a lot of political careers are now going to be thrown out of the window? Some of these politicians are going to be dropping, some are going to be born because of this and that, because of Raila Odinga's name?
You know, there's a gentleman, a friend of mine, who is desiring to contest in a certain region in South Nyanza. With a conversation with him last year, this is what he told me, that he has Raila's hand. And when he has Raila's hand, he was already assured of specifically 87% of the win. So his business was to look for 13%. Now that the 87% is not present, that tells you the 13%ers are at risk. The ones who are just concentrating on 13%, they are at risk. And there are so many. Because, let me tell you, and he will confess because he's a good... Is
Mheshimiwa
Orero, you know, Mheshimiwa Orero is a Peter.
Right.
And Peter is a forthright and truthful.
I like that. Tell them.
Peter, forthright and truthful.
Yeah.
He will honestly tell you that he did very little in Kibra after he was, after Raila settled for him. So whatever is going out there...
What did you say?
Yes, he's here. It will come to his turn to defend my statement, either to support or criticize.
Let him finish.
Let me finish. And let me repeat for the purposes so that you know it was not a mistake that I was making.
Go ahead.
That after, that is the year 2022, we had so many candidates who wanted the ticket of ODM in Kibra. After the party, and the party then, the party was Raila and Raila was the party, settled on one Mwalimu Peter Orero. He knew very well this seat is mine. So he did 13%. He got automatically 87%. So the 87% is that was coming from that domain of politics. Now the ones who have never been, when he got it, this is what they say, Peter, this is what they say. It matters who takes you, it matters who takes you somewhere. But for you to remain in that position, it matters what you do. I think Peter Orero, after he won, for example, I'm using him because he's present here. After he won Kibra, he mastered the art of endearing himself to the electorate. So that when it comes to a time that is now is going to be him, is not going to be to wait until Baba comes and says something. So I want to tell you, when you hear people out there saying that political careers of many are going to suffer, it is true.
Okay.
Yeah, 87% vis-a-vis 13%.
You have your time to defend yourself.
Of course, I started by saying that I am the only MP that Raila Amolo Odinga voted for. And of course, I was not coming from nowhere. I have been an ardent supporter of democratic change in this country and a follower of the late Raila Amolo Odinga and even his father, Jaramogi Odinga. But I want to tell him that I was not the sitting MP. And you know that. So I had to come and get into politics and defeat the incumbent. It means I was coming from outside. So at least I had some followers before I was elected on ODM ticket to represent the ODM political party in bedroom of Baba. So it means, therefore, It is not the 30% he's talking about.
No, 13.
13% he's talking about. But what I can tell you that Raila has had a big say in Kibra politics. The moment you got the ODM party ticket, one of the safest place that you would be is the Kibra, because that is where he spent most of his time. He could call all the leaders in Kibra on phone and by name. So he would direct the political direction. He would give the political direction. But I can tell you just the way he's saying that Raila himself admired and wanted and respected leaders who were fulfilling his vision for the Kenyan people. And one of those things is that you must work for the people. And if you don't work for the people, he will not be your friend. So when I assumed the office, one of my duties was to ensure that the Kibra people saw why Raila supported me to be the Kibra MP. So the work that I have done there, I'm sure he has been there many times. I am proud to say that today, when you visit Kibra at 7:30 p.m., it is like Dubai. Just the way you are here. People are working. The traders are there. For 4 kilometers, we have the Rerek lighting. If you go to Kibra now, I can say...
That was 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, about 3-4 weeks ago.
Yes.
I can proudly say that Kera has done 26 tarmacked roads. In Kibra, you can come, you can go and check, and they are in public domain.
You know, he's the head of service development.
Yeah, he knows.
You know, we made here, in fact...
Give him a tour.
No. In fact, he needs to tell you that I rescued him along Fort Jesus.
When the president
was coming, I was there from 5 a.m. trying to do the road, and he was very happy. But let me tell you, he's running away from when I got the ODM ticket. I rested because he's saying that when in Kibra, as long as you have ODM ticket, I want him to confirm here, in respect of the fallen soldier, that the fact that he got his ODM ticket, he was assured of 87%. Forget about there is nobody in this world who doesn't come from a certain background. But this one, I'll stay with it. Even him, my namesake here, Peter Orero Malimu, 87% was assured.
When I am very particular on his sentiments. When you get the ODM ticket, but before you get it, you have to work for it. But when you get it, then you are assured. In the certain basis where the ODM is very, very strong.
Victor, before we take a break, I've been around for long. A founder member of ODM. When those days, it mattered little how much you do. It matters a lot when the right eye has caught you.
As we wind up, your last word, because moving forward, and then I want you to mix this. We have 900,000 candidates starting the exams this morning. Mwalimu Peter Orero, time flies so fast. We've just done 1 hour already, just like that. Mwalimu Peter Orero, this is your area, and I know 900,000 students sitting the examination. Perhaps as a teacher who's been there, what's your word for them?
I would like him to be the last.
Okay, go ahead,
he's my senior.
Words of wisdom.
Break protocols.
Words of wisdom. I get that.
Success to all the students sitting for the exams, and also success to ODM. Remain united in respect to our boss. Remain united in Nairobi. Things are working. Lights everywhere. Good roads. No issues of drainage. Everything is working.
We'll talk about that in the next. You're talking about drainage and all that. I will invite you specifically.
No. I have to tell people that things are working because they are working.
Go ahead.
If they were not working, I would not have been here earlier than 7 as you expected. There's no jump. Everything is flowing. Remain in the city that is working, city of peace, city of order, city of hope, and city of equal opportunity. God bless you.
God bless you. And I think that brings another topic. I will invite you so that you can give us some of the scorecard, some of the things that the governor and the leadership of the county is doing. Agreed?
Anytime.
Thank you, sir.
Even after this, you can tell me to remain around. Because, because I have it. It's not something that I'm going to research on.
The show is ending.
It's
okay. You know, I was just looking at my phone and somebody is telling me, please give me that uji of Uhuru. No, it's not right. This is black tea.
This is coffee.
These people are serious. Anyway, I want to wish all the candidates good luck. I know the primary or the grade 9, the JSS is also ending today. The Form 4 candidates, we want to wish them very well. You know those days, when I was in Mwalimu, this is the most critical moment for all the kids. They have been there for 4 years. Now they are being tested. And I think also as education committee, we invited the CS for education just to give us how they are prepared for this exam. And most importantly, how they are prepared for the exams not to be leaked. So one of the things is that those who are invigilating these exams are teachers from the primary section. Those who are doing invigilation. And it's only the supervisors who are coming from the high school. And they are being changed every 1 week. You supervise here today, then after 1 week you move to the next station. So that there is no complacencies. There are no people who will collude to make sure that these exams do not leak. I want to appreciate those efforts. I want to tell all the Kenyans that we safeguard the interests of our people. Let these students do exam in a conducive environment. The principals and the head teachers ensure that these kids are well taken care of because their future lie on this. But specifically now, I want to wish the candidates of Kibra constituency the best of luck in honor of the late Prime Minister, Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. I want to wish them the very best. I know, even before he died, you know, normally their office give success cards to the candidates. And last week, we were forced to collect those success cards to distribute to the candidate schools, even after Raila died. And you know, Ida also supports education fully and gave us the success cards. And to all the other candidates again, may God bless you. May Kenya remain peaceful. You have seen what our neighbors are going through. And that tells you that where Kenya is, compared to other regional countries, we are far in terms of democracy. They are starting just where we were in 1990. This is when now they are starting to feel what Kenyans are feeling. Thank you for inviting us in this studio.
Thank you. The two Peters, Peter squared. Allow me to say asante sana, gentlemen, for coming to the show. Of course, extending my apology. We get the apology. Yeah, handshake. You see how it is.
It is everywhere.
You see how it is. Handshake everywhere. Okay, Peter Mutuku Mutua.
Yes, got it right.
Thank you, sir, for coming. He's a governance and political analyst. Asante sana is head of service delivery in this great county of Nairobi. Of course, lawmaker, Kibra constituency. Asante sana, Mwalimu Pitorero. All right. Apology from Dr. Ali Maalim, Mohamud, Deputy Governor of Mandera. He'll be here tomorrow. He was held up this morning in some of the crucial meetings when it comes to security of the country. All right. That's why we take it up. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Victor. Good morning.
We are looking at what happens to a woman in those critical months and weeks after delivery, why support is so crucial, and what ways can communities, families and health systems put together to work better with these new mothers.
It leaves a lot on her body that one needs to recover and go back to pre-pregnancy state, and that is a process that's physiological, that's mental, that's psychological.
My challenge and the biggest challenge of all is communication, because we don't have many healthcare providers who know sign language.
So we have a service on the mother side providing information and providing extra reminders and education, as well as referring them to care.
We need to be more keen on mothers when they come for clinics.
Treatment is not a one-off, and patients vary. Some may need care for a few weeks to months with supportive therapy.
Mimi sitaki maneno ingine mingi Mogaka, ni pesa nataka.
Sahi.
Naulizaje? Kichele pande yako become through.
Hawa si walipikwa marata.
You are looking at the new Kung Fu Master. Sakarunge.
Imposter.
Hawa watu ni mawatuanga.
Wamepita na ngapi? Usiniulize maswali ieleweki.
Very disappointed in you. Yaani unacha mwanamke peke yake kwa vita. Wale walikuwa waibi. Unaweka tactic. Now you poke. Ini distraction. Yes. Mogaka umening'oa meno.
Njiri hauna meno ya juu.
Nimeimesa.
President, Dr. Chung got shot. Huh? Never asked anyone to cut corners, and I never will.
Wipe his face! They're here!
Defibrillator, 200. Clear!
If you're just joining us, you're watching KBC Channel 1. This is Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Migwe. The first segment is done and dusted, politics. Now we focus on something different. Let's talk about one of the most overlooked pillars of, overlooked pillars of Africa's development, especially when you look at industrial growth. We are talking about standards in electrotechnology. You know, the International Electrotechnical Commission Africa Region Center is celebrating 10-year anniversary, and today I want us to look at what has been achieved in the past decade, and also how do standards drive innovation, industry and youth opportunities, especially in Kenya and around Africa. Joining me for that conversation in studio and on my far left, I'm joined by Zacchaeus Mwatha, who is the Acting Chief Manager, Standards Development and Trade at Kenya Bureau of Standards. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
And also, I'm also joined by Francois Ahoti, who is the Regional Director, International Electrotechnical Commission, African Regional Center. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Let us get into it. And I will start with you, Francois. For someone who is hearing about International Electrotechnical Commission, Africa Regional Center, for the first time, what would you say is its description and what does it do?
Yes, thank you very much for this question. Let's say that we are living in an electrotechnical world. Electrotechnology is indeed everywhere. You have lamps, you have mobile phone, you have household appliances, you have all these things, and they are working because behind you have the IEC, the International Electrotechnical Commission, that is writing the standards and managing conformity assessment so that these products comply with the standards and can be used. So this organization, the IEC, the International Electrotechnical Commission, is founded in 1906. And in 2015, they decided to have a regional center for Africa. The main idea is really to involve Africa in this standardization work, because at that time, you can say Africa was underrepresented in the international roundtable around the standards. So there was a need really to have Africa on board, and that's why we set up this center. Of course, you know that one of the things that Africa needs really is electricity, but electricity also for industries. And for this, the IEC work is really helpful to have access to electricity, but also to make electricity available for everyone. Let me add that when we talk about electrotechnology, we mean all the equipment used to produce electricity. Transformers, meters, all this equipment are part of the IEC scope. We have also all the equipment that use electricity. So if you need electricity for an equipment, then you are in the IEC scope. And also we have all the equipment that contain electronics. And of course, we have all the associated technologies. Today we are talking about artificial intelligence and things like that. So it is very important for Africa to be there. And that's why we have the center, and our work is to train, is to talk to people, to make them really be part of this game.
Indeed. Mr. Zacchaeus, there's an event that you are hosting, and it also involves IEC. How does hosting this event elevate Kenya's global visibility now and position the country in as much as this is concerned, and as a leader as in electrotechnology? And what does it mean for the growth of industries in the country?
Thank you very much, Migwi, for having us on this show.
Karibu sana.
And for that question, it's a very good question. One, let me state that the journey towards the hosting of the Africa Center, IEC Africa Center in Kenya, was long. It started long ago with IEC looking at the possibility of having its presence in Africa, from what my colleague Francois has said, to elevate the position and also build the contribution of the African countries in the IEC. And the choice of Nairobi was not an easy one, or the choice of Kenya. Now, 10 years down the line, we are hosting the 10 years of the IEC Africa after that long journey of finding the home of the IEC in Africa.
Yes.
And this has really elevated.
Okay, let me cut you short a little bit. Your mic, I'm told it has problems, but we'll come back to that question. Let me engage you, Francois. When you look at this anniversary, 10 years is no mean feat. So, reflecting on this journey, what would you say are the milestones that IEC can say it's proud of?
Yes, thank you for the question. I can say that we have a lot of reasons to be proud as IEC Regional Center for Africa, because the situation at when the center was established and now is really different in Africa. The idea is really to have the regional center supporting African countries. And from this perspective, we are used to visit African countries. We have visited almost all the African countries to bring to them what is electrotechnology, what are electrotechnical standards and conformity assessment systems, and how this can help. And after this time, I can tell you when you go to some country, you can see that the IEC standards are implemented. And we can feel really proud. I can give some example. For example, we visited Seychelles, where I've seen a government agency using the IEC certificate to accept electrotechnical product coming in the country. Recently, I was in Tunisia, where I've seen that a big organization, they have like 20% share of the global trade in the area, that is cable for automobiles, and they use the IC standards to be on the global market, you see. So also we have supported some countries to restructure, to reconstitute the national committees, and things seems now to be better than before. I can talk about Nigeria, Senegal, Tunisia, Ghana, and so on. And of course, we have also had new countries in Africa that came in the IEC family in Africa. So all this together, I think that we are driving well, we are moving well, and that's what we want to really present and to say that we are also ready to continue. Yeah.
Indeed. Mr. Zacchias, let's go back to the question. What does this mean for Kenya, hosting this event?
Okay, let me start by what does it mean hosting the IC Africa Center. In the background I have given is that it was a journey, and the choice was not a one-off. The IC Central Secretariat had to make hard decisions because there were several countries that were interested in hosting this particular center because of the accruing benefits from the hosting. So by hosting this particular now 10 years down the line, Kenya has been placed as a focal point of IEC in Africa. The world is aware of what is happening in Africa through the African Central IC Center and what is happening in Kenya. For example, I would say the Kenya is using the schemes which Ahoti has talked about, the IEC conformity assessment schemes, and this has really placed Kenya at the pedestal of the IEC and electrotechnology in the world. The world will be coming to Kenya, if I may say that. It's not only African countries that will be coming to Kenya from tomorrow. It will be the whole world will be in Kenya, and the whole world will be looking at Kenya from a global perspective as far as electrotechnology is concerned. We have exhibitions that will be running from tomorrow, that is 4th up to 6th during the conference, and they will position Kenya. The world will be able to see what as Kenya we have done in the area of technology. So this event is very, very important for this country in the area of technology, electrotechnology, and it's a major milestone, if I may put it, of this 10-year journey of the IEC in Kenya and in Africa. Yes.
This event is happening here in Nairobi?
Yes.
Starting on the 4th?
Good. I thought my colleague had introduced it. From tomorrow, that is on 4th of November up to 6th, we are celebrating the 10-year, a decade of impact of the IEC, which will be hosted here in Nairobi at the Kenyatta International Conference Center. We have more than 20 nationals who will be in this country coming to celebrate the 10 years of the IEC in Africa. There will be exhibitions. There will be high-level panels that will be talking about electrotechnology. What is electrotechnology, its impact, and all that in Kenya. Even the IEC president himself will be in Nairobi from tomorrow to make also, you'll be part of the panel that will be presenting during the IEC Africa Center 10-year celebrations.
From your perspective,
yes.
Now that we have the presence of IEC, Africa Region Center here in Kenya, how do you say it has shaped the national electrotechnical standards within the country and also within the region?
Okay. One, let me say, before this center was opened in Kenya or in Africa, or everything was centralized at the ISO Central Secretariat in Geneva.
Yes.
That is where the commission is headquarters in Geneva. So if you needed any service, you had to contact the ISO Central Secretariat in Geneva. IEC Central Secretariat in Geneva. But look at it now. You have the IEC Africa Center, which is in Africa. If you need any information about the IEC, you don't have to go to Geneva. You don't have to wait for responses from Geneva. You just need to pick up your phone, and make a call to the center, which is headquartered at the Eden Place, Westlands, in Nairobi.
Yes.
So our stakeholders have very easy access to the IEC and its services, which include standardization and conformity assessment. So this hosting, this shipping, is that there is very easy access to the IEC services. In Kiswahili, what we say, kupeleka huduma mashinani. So IEC has come to mashinani in Kenya and in Africa, because when you are in Nairobi, there is very easy connectivity to any part of Africa. So that was one of the factors that led to the hosting of the IEC Center in Nairobi for ease of connectivity. If you want to go to the west, it is very easy. If you want to go to the south, to the north, to the central of Africa, even to Europe, if you have any issues in Europe, it is very easy. So for the Africa Center to be in Nairobi, it has shaped the electrotechnical industry in Africa by making it very accessible. The IEC services, both standardization and conformity assessment, very, very easily accessible to the stakeholders. And what does that also mean? By having this center in Nairobi, when we are talking about access of goods to the African goods to the world, it is also very easy because we are also harmonizing the standards, the IEC standards. They are now being adopted by many countries through the presence or through the membership in the IEC, through either full members, associate members, or another program called the affiliates program. So almost the whole of Africa now is part of the IEC narrative, both in standardization and conformity assessment.
Yes.
So I would say the presence of IEC Africa Regional Center in Nairobi and in the continent has really brought the awareness of the IEC to Africa.
Yes. Yes. Francois, you know, one of the things that we enjoy in Africa is diversity. How has IEC helped countries within Africa now to come together around a shared electro-technical standards?
Yes. Let's say that, as he explained, IEC is an international organization. And because standards and conformity assessment are important for Africa, in Africa we have regional bodies working to put together African countries to work together for standards. And what we do, or what we did, is to connect with these regional organizations. For example, we have AFSEC, which is the African Standardization Commission in Electrotechnology. And with AFSEC, the IEC has signed 2 agreements, very important agreement. One agreement is about the regional adoption agreement, where IEC is giving to AFSEC and its members the right to adopt as regional standards, African standards, IEC standards. And also we have we came with a common program action plan every year where we support AFSEC in terms of trainings, in terms of webinars and things like that. We did the same with another organization called IDSMO. IDSMO is the Arab Industrial Development and Standardization and Mining Organization. We have 2 agreements with them. We have also agreement with ECOWAS, West African countries. We have agreement with the SADC region. We also have agreement with the centers around energy efficiency and renewable energy, ECRE and ECRE and so on. So the idea is really to support those organizations in what they are doing by allowing them have access to the IC international standards and conformity assessment. I should say that the event is starting tomorrow, but we can say also that it has started already because the AFSEC now, from yesterday, they have technical meetings in Kenya, in Nairobi, to prepare this session we'll have from tomorrow. So we are really helping the IEC family individually when it comes to countries, but also at the regional level, so that we work together to bring the voice of Africa at the international level.
Yes, and also still on you, when empowering local talent is very important. As the International Electrotechnical Commission, how have you helped African experts take the lead in shaping the standards now that we are talking about?
Thank you very much. So that is really what we want. We want Africa to be present, to sit at the table at the international level,
yes,
and to work with the international community. And to do it, of course, as you said, we need experts. And for us, the work we are doing is also to train experts on how to participate in the IEC work. And that's the first thing we are doing, but we also need really the involvement of decision makers in the different countries. So when we go to countries, we meet with decision makers to explain how important the standardization and conformity assessment are important for the country's development. And we are not doing this work alone. I mean, from the ICFRC alone. I can tell you we have the full support of the IEC management. So, for example, recently, the IEC Secretary General himself came to Africa. He has visited Ghana, Nigeria, Tunisia. Next year, he'll be visiting Uganda, Ethiopia, Egypt, and Burkina Faso. But before, in 2023, he visited Kenya, South Africa, Côte d'Ivoire. And when he comes to this visit, the idea is really to meet high-level people and have workshops, have work with stakeholders to see that IC has solutions ready to be used. Countries can use those solutions, but better, they can also participate in the formulation of these international solutions. So that's the way we are really working to empower Africa to take his full seat at the global level.
Absolutely. Now, Mr. Zacchaeus, standards can sound technical, especially to a person working in the county there. But if you meet somebody in Nairobi today, how do you explain standards in the simplest language possible?
Thank you once again. for that question of debugging and simplifying what a standard is.
Yes.
One, let me introduce myself that I work at the Kenya Bureau of Standards, and the vision of one of the mission of KBC is standards, not the mission. The vision of KBC standards for quality life. All right, and when you look at the vision of the IEC, is IEC everywhere for a safer and more efficient world. Those two visions are linked. If you look at them, we are talking about quality life, and we are talking about safer and more efficient world. So look at the standard from those two visions. And what do you mean by a safe world? I want to talk about a standard from a safety point of view, so that it is able to visualize what safety means in terms of standards. I may ask you a question. When you go to switch to put on your light, do you have the fear that that switch can electrocute you? Or you just go and just press the switch?
You just press.
Why?
Because you know it's safe.
What makes it safe? You do that because there is a standard behind the wiring. Okay? In the wiring code, the wiring standard, there is the way you connect the wires. So you don't connect the wires such that it can give you a shock. So that is a standard, an easy way of looking at standard. When you are going to plug a socket, yeah, you have your plug and you are going to a socket, and you are holding that plug, and you want to plug it on the socket outlet. Also, you don't mind whether the power is off or it's on.
Yes.
Why? Because there is a standard that is behind the construction of the plug.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. You will come to explain that.
Yes.
Let's take a very short break. We'll be right back to continue this conversation.
In a world where news is ever changing, staying informed is more important than ever.
Join us every week on News Check, your go-to show for the latest in current affairs, breaking news and in-depth analysis.
A warm welcome to KBC News Check.
From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts, hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first.
You have to do the impossible
Yes.
to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1.
Ejeje kuja home tena.
Elijah, uko wapi Aki?
Ninajua tu hakuji, twende tukalale.
Kwani una mpango wa kuniangamizia hapa?
Wewe ndo umejitakia, sio mimi.
Wewe unafanya nini hapa wewe?
Inasema hiyo swali ni moja. Ndani ya yeye hakuna swali yako.
Cindy,
Mama Kenti nisaidie.
Welcome back to Good Morning Kenya. We're talking about the International Electrotechnical Commission Africa Region Center 10-year anniversary. And before we went on a break, Mr. Zakis were explaining about standards.
Yes, we go back to my example of the plug. So when you're plugging in that plug to the socket outlet, you do it without fear of electrocution. Why? Because there is a standard that specifies the performance requirements of that plug, such that that plug should be made out of a material that is non-conductive. It is not going to conduct electricity and give you a shock and something like that. So to a layman, to a person on the street, about safety of a standard, relation to the standard is that these standards make sure that you don't have to think twice when you are doing some of these things. When you are plugging in your socket, when you are switching on your lights, there is a standard behind it which makes sure that there is safety with that particular product or service. So that is one. Then I link again to the second part of the vision of the IEC, that is a more efficient world. Now, efficiency, let's look at it from this perspective. When today you go to the supermarket or to any shop and you want to buy a lamp, a bulb, let me call it a bulb, not use technical terms, I call it a bulb. Your bulb has blown or it is burnt. It is at night and maybe it's around 7 p.m. You have children who are doing their homework or who are revising, or even someone is cooking, and then this bulb burns. You don't need to look for the biggest supermarket around for you to buy a bulb that will fit into the bulb holder in your house. What do? You move to the nearest shop. Very efficient. You move to the nearest shop and you buy a bulb which you go and fit on your bulb holder. Why? Because there is a standard that says if it's a pin type bulb, then there shall be a pin type holder, socket holder. So the only thing you need to know is mine a screw type or is it a pin type? Because they are just those two types. You go to the shop, you say I need a bulb, and most of, anyway, unless maybe for special purposes and for aesthetics, most of the bulbs are pin type. So even you don't need to think about it. You just go to the shop and ask for the nipatie bulb. Watingapi? You are given the bulb you want. You dash back to the house, you go fit, and it works. That is standards at work. Okay? When you are boarding, for those who travel, when you are boarding a plane, do you really start fearing that this plane may not take off?
No.
You board, you belt up, and you sit so comfortable for this plane to take off. Why? Because there are standards behind every component in that plane, which makes the components work with each other. This is what IEC does. We make sure that the standards are there for every component, not just for those big. I've given the example of a bulb. It's a small thing. I've given the example of a socket. It's a small thing. When you go to an ATM, do you go and say, this is Barclays, so I have a card for Barclays? When you go to, nowadays it's called ABSA, when you go to Stanchart, you look for a card for Stanchart, you go to KCB, you go to Coop Bank, you carry all those. You don't have to carry many cards. You just need one card. Why? If it's a Visa card, then there is a standard for Visa card. So you just need to go and insert your card and you withdraw your money. So, and again, another example I can give. If today you are on one of the networks in Kenya and you decide to buy a SIM to change to another network, do you need to change your phone? No, you don't need to change your phone. Why? There are standards for the SIM slot and the SIM itself. Yeah, the SIM card itself. So you just need to go and buy a SIM card, and there you go insert in your phone, they fit, that compatibility, that is standards at work. So you look at it simplistically, that is how I can explain standards at work. They make it safe, and they make it very efficient for you, very easy for you to do things the way you would like to do. Yeah, that is my simple explanation of what a standard is. Yes. But when now you summarize it, it's fitness for use. Yes, that fitness is for use.
Definitely.
Yes.
Mr. Francois, what sparked the idea behind the African Infrastructure Week? Was there a challenge somewhere that necessitated this event?
Okay, thank you very much. I think that from the examples that my colleague has presented, yes, you can see how important is electrotechnology. At the same time, you know that electrotechnology is not really, it's not really seen by people as something very important because it's so common. They are using it, but they don't really see what it is about. So when we talk about quality infrastructure, people will think about food, agriculture. That's good. But also we have this electrotechnical area that I talk about. So we wanted to really have this event, if possible, every year, because now we put the first ICA Africa Quality Infrastructure Week to make people be aware of the importance of electrotechnology for development. Because you cannot talk about this development or anything without electrotechnology. Even the industries that are not really in the electrotechnical sector, for example, if you take food industry, you see that the equipment they are using in the factory use electricity. So we want really African country to build around this sector. We are aware of a lot of countries as well. They don't have raw materials, but they are doing well because they are focused really on electrotechnology. So that's why we want to have this event as regularly as possible, so that we bring together experts, we bring together industries to talk and to see how really we can move forward with all the resources we have at international level through IEC and other organizations.
Okay, and also still on you, from your perspective, how can professionals, entrepreneurs, innovators also plug into the work that IEC does?
Yes, I can say for a very long time, IEC has been called the home of industry. So, and that may be why people don't really know what is IEC, but the industry, the entrepreneurs in the electrotechnology, they really know what is the IEC. I said that recently I visited a country where an organization is in the market, the international market, because of IEC. So what we want really to have is to have these entrepreneurs interested. And of course, innovation is the heart of what IEC is doing. Technology is evolving every time. So we need African community to be interested in this area. If we are not interested in this area, we continue to produce raw material. And it's not, let me tell you that the IEC work cover almost 25% of the world trade, the international trade. And the second sector, after the electrotechnology, is the raw energy material that is at 11%. So you see the gap. This very important sector is not having the attention it needs. And so we call the entrepreneurs, we call the innovators really to link with IEC so that they can really move quickly forward.
Indeed. Mr. Zacchaeus, from trade to tech, how do you think standards help Kenya in competing with with other global markets?
Thank you very much. We look at competitiveness. Now, what happens in Kenya in manufacturing? Because we have manufacturers. Every product that is produced in this country, produced in the legal way, it has to go through a vetting process at the Kenya Bureau of Standards. We have a quality assurance department that ensures that there is a contract between the manufacturer and the Kenya Bureau of Standards that they are going to produce quality products. What are these quality products? It's only those quality products are those products that meet the requirements of the set standards, or what we would call set specifications. Now, with these products meeting these quality specifications, it means that these products can access any market in the world where we have, for example, mutual recognition agreements, or where our marks of quality, if I may specifically talk about the standardization mark, which is a mandatory mark in this country. For every product that is produced, it must bear the standardization mark. So with this standardization mark, it is very easy for these products to access global markets. Within the EAC, if I may talk about that, the East African community, coming nearer home before we go outside, any product with a standardization mark has a direct entry into any of the 5 East African country markets without retesting. Only that the country will do market surveillance when the product is in the country. Even the products from other countries, they come and we do market surveillance. So when you look at the competitiveness, because of the stringent contracts that exist between manufacturers and the Kenya Bureau of Standards, it is evident that these products will be able to meet the requirements of the set standards. And then, why is it so easy to meet those requirements? It is because of harmonization of standards. Most of the Kenya standards are harmonized to international standards. So by harmonization, I mean when we are developing a Kenya standard for a socket outlet, first of all, what we look at is existing international standards. These international standards, we domesticate them. The same with the East African region. We have harmonized standards for trade within the region. So these products become very, very competitive and easy to access those other markets. And I'll give an example. The maintenance-free batteries, we call them starter batteries, which are produced in Kenya. They have direct access maybe to the West, like Ghana. A lot of batteries that are produced here in this country, they go to Ghana. Why do they go to Ghana? They go to Ghana because they have met the IEC standards, which are already the Kenya standards and are already the Ghanaian standards. So it is very easy for this battery, once it is manufactured in Kenya, using the stringent controls which are there between the manufacturer and the Kenya Bureau of Standards. They meet the IEC standard for starter batteries, maintenance-free batteries, and when they go to those other countries, they can comfortably compete with batteries from anywhere in the world, because also those other batteries are manufactured to the international standard. They meet the IEC standard, and because the world is becoming very small, and one standard, when you have one standard, you have access to the global market. So let me say that the Kenyan manufacturers are out there to beat the global market. Today, as we speak, maybe I'm digressing from your question, we have innovator, we have producers of Type C charging cables in Kenya. These Type C charging cables are being exported out of this country. Why? Because as you may be aware, the world agreed or resolved that we are not going to have many varieties of charging cables. One, to reduce the e-waste, and two, to make it easier. You see, the IEC, the efficient world, safer and efficient world. So the world, whoever is producing mobile phones, they are producing to, their chargers are Type C, unless those who are going wireless charging now. So if you have Type C and the standard has been set for Type C, why wouldn't Kenya compete competitively with the rest of the world by following and sticking to the standard for Type C charging cables and be able to conquer the world? We are looking at our innovators conquering the world, our manufacturers, our products going out there and competitively competing with the others. Why? By meeting the set standards.
Yes, indeed. Mr. Francois, what would you say, because standardization has its challenges, but what would you say are the most outstanding ones, especially within Africa, and how can they be turned into opportunities now?
Yes, we have challenges, a lot of challenges. One of the first challenges we have is stakeholder engagement. The engagement of the expert in the work, the standardization work. It is a very big one because sometimes you don't feel the Africans are interested in sharing this expertise that they may have. And the challenge is big because in some other part of the world, the experts they pay to participate in the standardization activity. In Africa, they want to be paid to go and sit and participate in the standardization work. And this is a big challenge even for government because the standardization is everywhere. If experts need to be to meet regularly and we have to provide this money, it may be difficult. The second thing we have as challenge is that unfortunately in Africa, decision makers sometimes are not really aware of the impact, importance of standards. Okay, of course we have standardization body in all the countries, but we need to have this push, this support from the people in driving the country, the decision makers. The other thing is also challenge is Africa is not that much involved at the international level, and we need to work at this level. We need to have the expert to go to work at the national level, regional level, international level, but we need also to have Africans in the governance bodies at the international level. So that is the challenges we are working on for Africa. And as I said recently, as I said before, we are really doing this work by visiting countries, meeting people, talking to them with the support of the IEC. And I think that is one thing very important. And also you see, because the opportunity is also in terms of we have a lot to do in Africa. And we have solutions available that we can use. And I think that is the way we can make progress on standardization and conformity assessment in Africa.
Now, in the interest of time, Zacchaeus, now that we are marking 10 years anniversary of IEC in Africa, what do you think is next for Kenya and Africa, especially when it comes to standards space?
Thank you very much. This is a very, very important question. asking what's next for Kenya and the continent when it comes to the standards place. As the director of the IEC Africa office has said, we need more presence in standardization. And who is going to do this? How are standards developed? Standards are developed by experts, by the stakeholders, by the people who are practicing this technology. The Kenya standards are not developed by officers at the Kenya Bureau of Standards. The IEC standards are not developed by the officers at the IEC Central Secretariat. Who does this work? It's the experts. When we talk, for example, I'll give an example. When you talk about the moving picture industry, we have an expert group known as MPEG, Moving Pictures Expert Group. That is the driver of the moving pictures standards at the IEC and at the global level. So what we need to do is our experts, our manufacturers, our academia, our researchers need to put more into standardization space and be sure they have their voice of the continent heard at the IEC and the other level. Also, the issue of conformity assessment. We need, as the continent, because the IEC runs for conformity assessment. This time may not be enough to explain about conformity assessment, but this is, let me put it in a layman's language, certification. So the IEC runs for certification schemes for electrotechnical products. The continent needs to embrace these conformity assessment systems and embrace them. They will make sure the products that are entering this continent, the quality of the products will go up, because these are third-party attestations when we talk of conformity assessment. So, in a nutshell, what am I saying? I'm saying that our voice, our stakeholders, our manufacturers, our innovators, don't just sit with that innovation. Bring it out for standardization. When it is standardized, that standard can become a global standard through the IEC. Let's input there. Let's propose more standardization items at the international level as we do it at the national level.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Francois, if you were to sum up the International Electrotechnical Commission in one powerful phrase, what would that be and why?
Yes, thank you very much for this question. Let's say that recently I had the chance to moderate a webinar when we were preparing this event of the 10 years anniversary. And the topic was IC in Africa, from legacy to impact. I think this is really what, for me now, is summing up what we have. IEC in Africa, from legacy to impact. This means that the IEC has set up a regional center in Africa. We have now 10 years. IEC has been established for a very long time back, and we feel that this center will continue to be in Kenya, in Africa. This is the legacy the IEC is really giving to Africa. Then the second part is we need to have impact from what we are and what we are doing in Kenya. We are expecting to have measurable impact. And of course, I talk about some of the results that we are proud of, but we need to go further. And for this more impact, we have a way to put it. We say now, IEC is in Africa. We need Africa to be in IEC. Africa being in IEC means, as he said, we have African experts at the international roundtables to discuss the content of the international standards. It means that we have also Africa in the governance of the international bodies, so that we have our say. It means also that we implement the standards, because if we have standards and we are not implementing them, it changed nothing. So for me, what I have as summary or takeaway from what we want to do through this 10 years anniversary is really to have the impact in the coming years from the presence of IEC in Africa.
Yes.
To have IEC, to have Africa in IEC.
Yes. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for making time to come and talk about this. We have been talking about the International Electrotechnical Commission Africa Region Center's 10-year anniversary that is taking place at the KICC from the 4th to 6th of this month, and also just highlighted the importance of electrotechnology for development, not only within Kenya, but also within Africa. I've been talking to Francois Ahoti, who is the Regional Director, International Electrotechnical Commission, Africa Region Center, and also Zacchaeus Mwatha, who is the Acting Chief Manager, Standards Development and Trade at Kenya Bureau of Standards. This is where this conversation ends. Don't go too far. Vivian Ndegwa is up next with Family Check. My name is Mike Megwe. Stay with us.
Kuja home tena.
Elijah, uko wapi aki?
Ninajua tu akuji, twende tukalale.
Kwani una mpango wa kuniangamizia hapa?
Ha. Wewe ndo umejitakia, sio mimi.
Wewe unafanya nini hapa wewe?
Inasema hiyo swali ni moja. Ndani ya yeye akona swali yako.
Cindy!
Mama Kenti nisaidie.
Kuna waibu wamenikimbisa.
Mimi sitaki maneno ingine mingi Mogaka, ni pesa nataka.
Sahi.
Nauliza aje? Kichele pande yako become through.
Hawa si walipikwa marata.
You are looking at the new Kung Fu Master. Sakarunge.
Imposter.
Hawa watu ni mawatuanga.
Wamepita na ngapi? Usiniulize maswali yeleweki.
Very disappointed in you. Yaani unaacha mwanamke peke yake kwa vita. Wale walikuwa waibi. Unaweka tactic. Now you poke. Ini distraction. Yes. Mogako umening'oa meno.
Njiri hauna meno ya juu.
Nimeimesa.
I never heard the music so sweet. I repeat.
Well, go on, me brethren, big things are going. Remember, each and every Monday we have to shell down the place with nothing but the best of smooth way the vibes in your favorite station. You know these things, man.
Alafu kila Tuesday, kata simu tupo side, giving you Kenyan music from the 254.
And of course, you can spice up your Wednesday by enjoying blazing hot hip-hop and R&B jams.
We don't got no label. She say she want bottles.
Vibes and vibes as we go all across Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, all the way to Tanzania to give you nothing but the best on Afro Thursday. Make sure you make a date with us each and every single Friday with me, DJ_Liza Diva,
DJ Cold,
and me, Wanjiko. This is Club One Extra.
Unanifanya nisikie kunyongwa. Hadija ai, mani especially ukisonga.
President, Dr. Chiang got shot. Huh? Never asked anyone to cut corners, and I never will.
Wipe his face! They're here!
Defibrillator. 200. Clear.
In today's world, securing a job after university is increasingly difficult. Many graduates like Faith face harsh job rejections and a tough economy. Despite her hopes for a stable job post-graduation, Faith struggled to find work, leading to her to consider starting a business instead.
You're looking for jobs, there are no jobs, you're sending applications, you can't get even the responses. And so that led me to find a way of surviving. And that's when I ventured into selling laptops.
During this time, Faith connected with her friend Caleb, who ran a small computer sales and repair business. Recognizing a partnership opportunity, Faith brought fresh ideas while Caleb contributed his experience. Together, they embarked on an entrepreneurial journey.
Fresh ideas and also the zeal from someone new.
Setting up the business proved challenging. They needed to find a prime location, reliable suppliers, and raise funds for rent and stock.
The business is capital intensive, and that meant that I have to look for capital. And also starting out, especially here in Nairobi, it's very expensive because you'll need to have connections on where to get stock, on where to get the capital, on where to start from. And so even getting people to work with you through the journey was a bit challenging, but through and through we have been able to climb the ladder.
They chose to sell computers due to the growing reliance on technology, which they believed had significant market potential.
Right now, the world is all about technology. So you need to have a computer to do everything. Right now, you need to have a computer and all the electronics. You can't stay without a gadget. So that is something that is needed. It's almost a basic need nowadays.
Trust was crucial to their success. As friends, they divided responsibilities based on their strengths and ensured the shop remained open even when one was absent. They tackled problems together, leading to innovative solutions for smooth operations.
We act like a pilot and a co-pilot. So whenever I'm not there, the co-pilot is able to do everything that I can do. So we have equal roles, and everybody knows what they are good at, and they have perfected the places where they're good at, and so we're able to complement each other in that way.
Understanding each other. Yes. So, of course, I have some ideas. My partner has other ideas, but we have to understand one another so that everything can run smoothly.
As competition increased, they needed to differentiate themselves. They expanded services by offering repairs, a Lipa Pole Pole payment plan, and door-to-door deliveries. These additions attracted more customers and helped build a trusted brand.
We don't only sell computers, we also do repairs. We also offer payment plans. So like when you come to purchase a laptop from us, we take you through the different types that we have. After that, we're able to give you options. You choose the option that you like the most, and then we take you through the Lipa Pole Pole plan. We have Lipa Pole Pole plans for laptops, and we also have repair services whereby we do not only sell laptops, but we also repair. If you have a laptop that that has an issue, we can also repair that for you. And we have services like delivery services.
Starting the business transformed Faith's life. Overcoming job rejection, she found joy in independence and success, earning more than she expected and feeling grateful for taking the risk.
And so one of the things that I know I might not do as a person is go back to be a career person, because for sure if I'm going to be a career person, that career might not pay me the much that I need to survive, especially in Nairobi and in the current economic status that we are in. Yeah.
Faith's online skills helped expand their customer base through social media advertising, customer reviews, and online orders with delivery options.
And you see, for a fresh graduate, she's well conversant with online marketing, so she has taught me a lot.
Now successful entrepreneurs, Faith and Caleb advise youths not to wait for employment, but to seek alternative paths. They encourage aspiring entrepreneurs to identify market trends rather than blindly starting any business, as maintaining one can be challenging.
That you feel like giving up, the days that you feel like you don't know, you don't have a direction, but at the end of the day, just sit down and ask yourself, then what? If I sit here and wait, who is coming to save me? Definitely with our current state of the economic status that we are in right now, there's no one who is coming to save you. So the only thing you need to do is just start. Whatever it is that you're thinking about, just start and be disciplined and be consistent as much as possible.
You can check whatever is moving online, because you see, you can start a business, but then you will not find clients because whatever you're selling is not needed at the moment. So you need to have something that if you buy to sell, you'll find clients instantly.
You are right in time for Family Check. And our topic of conversation today is quite interesting. The question we are posing to you is, what is the right age? What is the appropriate age to open up to your child about sex education? That is the question that we are asking you. And remember that you are open to send us your comments, your reviews, your questions on the same by our line 0716-103-301, 0716-103-301. Tuanze pamoja, maswali zianze kuingia. You can share your messages via WhatsApp, or you can also call in live the moment we open our lines. And joining me for this conversation is one Nelly Mutai, who is a multimedia creative and actress as well. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And then we have Might. Might is a trainer, a mentor, and also the CEO Pro Mentors Africa. Welcome to the show.
Asante sana.
A very needed conversation, because you know, when you talk about sex, it's usually like a taboo. It is a topic that is not talked about, you know, in open spaces and all of that. So what is the appropriate age to introduce the sex conversation to your child? But even before you get to answer that, I would love to know from your own experience, were you ever taught about sex by your parents while you were younger?
For me, I wouldn't really say there was a conversation, like a sit-down conversation with my parents about sex. Mostly it was like warnings. Usicheze na vijana. Nikikupata wewe. Mostly it was like warnings, but not really like this is how things work. You shouldn't do this. You should do this. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unajua, kitambo, there used to be a lot of discipline, and it was not all about the ladies and sex, ucheze na vijana. Even as they were warning, piga demo wenyewe ball, wazee wanatumwa. There were tough warnings on how you work out the sex issue. If you ukiblanda tu kidogo kama jamaa, atunaenda kila pahali. In fact, your ball, which is the consequences of sex, the whole community will know. They will even come. Watasema ulivunja mbuzi ya yenyewe. So when others see that action, discipline comes in. Inakuwa funzo. Unlike today. So zamani, that concept of discipline and tough education from my elders, I think it was helping.
Was that conversation had in your household when
Hakuna
you were
conversation,
younger?
ni don't. Hakuna conversation ati wewe unacheza na msichana wenyewe, shauri yako. The point was atapata ball. Utalea mtoto aje. You know, there were tough words being punctured. To us. So we can say that was the education anyway. Maybe that was the conversation, but it was a tough one.
Because also on my end, no one really sat me down. Not my mother, not my father. No one really sat me down. We got to know about, you know, the sex conversation in school, especially when we go to the, in science, to Kisoma reproduction. That is when now you start knowing, oh, there's this, there's that, this is what you should know, this is what you should do, you know.
Kulikuwa na kitu, chungu wanaume.
That was there, but I don't think I was even warned like that. I don't remember that warning on my end. But that was the case, you know. But now let's look at the times we are living in right now. Saizi hata usipoongelelea nyumbani, atasikia tu mahali kwingine, ama atapatana tu na information, because you know they are always on their phones as well. So maybe just tentatively looking at it, when is the appropriate age? And is there something like an appropriate age, or is this a conversation that keeps evolving and gradually you should gradually introduce it to your child? But from what age?
I feel like each age group has its kind of conversation on sex that is appropriate. What I will talk to with my 5-year-old is not what I will talk to my 12-year-old or 15-year-old. So I feel like each age has its appropriate conversation. Like kindergarten level, from like 3 years up to 5 or 6 years, that's when they need to know their body parts. They need to know even these private parts, what are they called, that no one should touch them. There's even that song they usually like, no one should touch them. My daughter sings it a lot. So so I feel like that age, they need to know that, like, this is a private part. No one should see it, no one should touch it, no one should feel it. My daughter sings it like that.
No one should play with it.
No one should play everything. And nowadays, even the mouth is a private part. They even do the mouth and all those parts. Then now, ukienda mbele, like maybe 7 years uko, kuenda paka maybe 10, now they need to know, like, I am a boy, you know, I am a girl. Even like a 7-year-old can't change in front of people. They already know. Like a 3-year-old can still not have that shame. But by 7, uko anajua, like, I'm a boy, I need to behave like this, and I'm a girl, I need to behave like this. All the way up to now, maybe teenage or preteen, then you'll start talking about the actual sex.
Are you of the same idea, Mike?
Sex by age 4. Let's talk about it. Let's hit it, because we don't even develop the character between age 1 to age 5. So by age 4, as we were talking of, this is my private part and everything, conversation, age 4 to me going up, let's talk about it. Because in that age 4, age 5, they come in to tell, Dad, this is my girlfriend. Already those narratives are already there. So I agree with her. We need to talk about it. The only thing that we need is, as we move, we need to be very keen on our questions or our conversation because of the age. At age 5, at age 4, what are we talking about? Still about sex, but what is the approach? The methodology. At age 7, age 10, as you move up, the approach and methodology changes. But what is happening, there's a lot of shy-off from the parents and everything. They're not ready to speak about it.
But why is that the case? Why do you feel it's so uncomfortable for parents to just, you know, talk about the sex conversation? Why is it so uncomfortable?
I feel like our culture, our tradition, you know, sex conversations are still very taboo. Like people are not open to talk about sex, to talk about sexuality, to talk about gender. People are not just still very open. Like, of course, there's change, there's progress, but people are not still very open to have these conversations. And when it comes to matters children, it becomes even more sensitive because now people feel like you're exposing the child to it more than making them be aware of what is already happening in the society. Yeah.
Mi nafikiria hivi. One thing I think sisi kama wazazi tuko kwa hiyo kitu mpaka tunashindwa utaambia mtu huyaje. Sisi kama wazazi, even the way we dress and everything which insinuates concept of sex, it's provoking them. It's telling them something, it's communicating to them. Non-verbal communication about sex is already within the house. So unakuta pahali utamwongelesha udota aje. Utamwongelesha huyu sana aje. The concept of a boy and a dad conversation, sijui zilienda wapi. That need to be there. Mom and the daughter, they need to talk. So I think kuna culture ina evolve ambaye ni culture iko na ufala kiplani. Because unless we change, because ikiendelea hivyo, things will be more worse. Because about sex, we should talk about it. We should not beat around the bush. It is face this, it is like this, and like this. It goes like this and this. Because if you don't do that, the way you've said earlier, media will train my child. Media will talk. And when the media talks, then the parental power, influence, goes away. And the
now when we talk about media, it's not just media, you know, it's not the kind of media that people were used to, like, you know, just TV or radio, which is actually, you know, that one is guided, you know. Right now, when you talk about media, we're also talking about social media, which does not have restrictions most times. We're talking about pop culture. What are they, you know, it's wide.
The neighbors. The way they are behaving, and you have a child here, it's media. They are communicating. The outside, even watoto wakienda, kuna vile, and that's why I tell people in school, many parents, these are total reflection of you, your behaviors at home. And teachers can tell you the truth. Teachers wanaangalia gawa toi, anajua huyu ni budake, huyu ni mother. So the media is so wide today. The social media, the way even people are moving outside there. Tumeenda mall with my daughter, with my son. Also there's communication. It's communication. Even tumeenda pale kununua nguo, alafu utakuta kuna mtu amevalishwa nguo.
The mannequins.
Inaitwa hivyo. Say ati angalia huyu anakaa, you know, already I think communication ya leo ni tough. Ni tough. I think a lot is needed.
So what are the dangers of not having these conversations in the house?
Dangers ni mingi. Dangers ni mingi because one, this child, out of my experience that I've been working with the families, a lot of behavior, deviousness behavior are all over. Devious behavior such that now unakuta mtoi in grade 5, in grade 6, vitu kwa nafanya.
Might allow me to cut you short a bit. We have a caller. We have Enoch from Migori. Enoch, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you this morning, and what is your comment on the conversation that we are having?
I am fine. But I have a question.
Yes.
The question is that, how? Open up how? Kuwa open aje kwa mtoto?
Ukuwe open kivipi kwa mtoto? What age are we looking at from your end?
I think ni girl child ama?
Miaka ngapi? Mtoto wako miaka ngapi?
Mtoto ako na miaka 25.
25?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, and you've never had that conversation na unashindwa bado utaianza vipi?
Si ati ninashindwa. Nimekuwa na conversation naye, ninaongea naye, but to open up, because kuna mwingine tena hako 13 years. To open up naye sasa unajua ni vile watoto wasichana naongea nao but wanakuangalia.
Yeah.
So hiyo shida iko hapo sasa kuanzia hapo.
Okay. Might I want to hand that to you. You know, dealing with he's a father dealing with the daughters. How do you start that conversation?
Now, one thing we need to realize that parenting is not me alone. Parenting, we need to go. Hata kitambo ulikuwa nasikia kabla sijatairi ningeenda kwa anko zangu. So ikuwa niko baba mimi na niko na wasichana. There are some other things that from the father becomes hard. But an uncle can say those. But a friend can do that. And that's why sometimes kwa ule amepiga pendekezo yangu ingekuwa sometimes hata mkiwa na social within your friends and you take your daughters there and get somebody who can hit the nail on the head. Because sometimes ni ngumu kusema kweli. As a father kuna vitu zingine utashindwa kupronounce na hata inaleta ni kama aibu, but it should not be like that, but it is there because we are culturalized that way. So kwangu mimi ningesema hivi, let's look friends who are surrounding us. If I look that, then I know if you talk to my daughter, kuna vitu tahit. I'm a lady, I'm this and this goes like this. You will hit it better than my wife. And again, a lady talking to a lady, to a girl child, it becomes not very hard. It is easier.
It's easier.
You see? Than the man now talking to the girl child. But still they need to hear the voice of the man. So my thinking kwangu ingekuwa, let's look how are we going back to our friends. I choose the right friends and I realize this friend one day naweza muita invite lunch, tuko tu tunabonga kwa njaro naondoka wanaanza story. You see, don't put it very formal. Ukiweka very formal utakuangalia tu uongea stories za jaba. Unabonga. Lakini when you make it informal. Your family and my family gathering together, tumeenda pahali. Let's try to look the way things are moving. Social life is moving in a different angle. Also, this education should move together with the social life. We should upgrade ourselves in the approaches. That's my view.
And how do you balance, protecting a child's innocence? There's a thin line between you're telling them a bit too much, a tad too much. You're talking to a 6-year-old, ushamwambia sijui nini, a lot of things. So how do you protect their innocence and also still at the same time giving them the accurate information?
How do you measure too much? Because already wanajua uliza walimu.
That's when you know your child.
You unasema ati too much. Already anajua. Amejua hata zaidi kuniliko. Like, let me talk about my daughter tells me, hey, daddy, phone yako hata hujui kutumia.
Najua zaidi. Wacha tusikize Mark. Mark, good morning.
Yes, hello.
Unatupata Mark? What is your question?
Good morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Yes. No. Yeah, this is one of the conversation that I'm getting, and I was just being concerned recently when my daughter, who is at the age of like 15, when he was at school, there was some kind of inappropriate behavior. And this is regarding the matter of kissing, embracing girls, and all that. And one thing that I was very much upset about is regarding, of course, inappropriate behavior in school and with other girls. And now the issue was brought about, when did you start engaging these girls with sexual conversation?
Nice.
And of course, the sexual conversation, we started very early, at the age of 7, because that's the time now we were conversing that, which is the appropriate kind of the areas that you are not supposed to be touched, about your anatomy, and no one should touch your breast, and we had this kind of candid conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I feel as a parent, we should start this at an early age.
Yes.
And because these people are currently they are exposed to internet, they are having tablets and they are whatever they are seeing through these kind of gadgets. We have not much control at some point because maybe we're at work and they're sometimes left alone. They're still looking. We have mates who are taking through them, and so. The age of conversation, I think we need to start early enough, rather than leaving and then you assume they will learn on their own.
Mm-hmm.
This is very, very, it won't be good to start at late age. So we need to start the conversation at an early age.
At an early age.
Yeah, to me, it's something that we should not shy talking about.
Yes,
yeah,
thank
we should
you.
Be open. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mark. Yes, Mark is saying don't shy away from it.
Yeah.
It's a conversation that should be had as early as possible.
Yeah.
You know, there's also when you talk about matters sex education, when there's the question you've asked me. You know, what is too much information? You know, the information is already at their fingertips. But then, can you imagine talking to a 6-year-old about contraceptives? That's too much information.
No, that's why I say there's age-appropriate conversations on sex. Yeah, like as the age goes up, the conversation is different.
Yeah.
As I said, what you talk to a 5-year-old is not what you talk to a 12-year-old. I think preteens, uko, kuendelea, maybe that's when you can actually talk about sex itself, like intercourse and things like that.
Yeah.
But
And how to prevent it.
and how, and things like that. If that is what you're open to, like if you want to talk contraceptives, you know, I feel like different families will have different conversations.
Matters, especially when it comes to contraceptives, then that is also another topic.
It's another topic
quite,
on its own.
Yeah.
And I feel people are fearing. And for the small ones, my thinking is this. You see, even the CBE coming in. For us, we are so active. You know, that age is so active. There's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Time yetu kulikuwa na ball. Unacheza ball ya juala. By the time unafika nyumbani, you are tired. Ujafikiria story ya nini aje sasa. So I think we also need to go back within this age. You know, the issue of kucheza, watoto kucheza.
Yeah.
I remember one day the CS came and said, let the children play.
Yeah.
Wacha wacheze, wacha kuwe tired and everything. Also it is helping to manage the mind based on, because wangecheza na everything. Leo hawachezi, ni TV na makazini zao na everything na simu. So also that is contributing. I wish parents outside there can also try, like sasa wamefunga, try to send them somewhere wacheze.
Involve them in activity.
Yeah, let the mind because they are active.
Yeah.
They will explore if you don't do that.
Yeah.
So no matter how busy we are looking for money and everything, please try to do something.
There's the conversation of teenage pregnancies, because as much as we would want to assume, oh, maybe they are too young, they're not even having sex, but then there's the case of teenage pregnancies that if you look at statistics, they are quite high and they keep going up as the years go by. And there's the question that you had asked off air, you know, when back then, do you think they were talking about sex, and what are the numbers compared to how teenage pregnancy is right now, compared to back in the days? How are the numbers when it comes to matters teenage pregnancy? And are we speaking about it now, and is it changing? Is speaking about sex from an early age changing the story, changing the perspective that is with us right now? There was that conversation.
Yeah.
It is true. Before, I think zamani haikuongelewa sana. Ilikuwa ma authority, ilikuwa ma instructions. Lazima ufuate. And I think ilisaidia pia by that time. Today tunaongelea, but I think pia knowledge inakuwa too much, alafu we become so active. So when you are so active, then repercussion pia inakuwa. So I think we are called more to talk about it now because of the way world have changed. We are called to talk more. But I don't have the real statistics, but I'm very sure at my age, kitambo hazikuwa mob. Kitambo ilikuwa nafika pahali unaweza pata dem ana mtoi na muoane na everything. Today is different. Ama chali ana mtoi. Today tumejaa huko. So the pregnancy is too high. It's rapid. And it's rapid because of the behavior. The behavior practice ambayo tuko nazo.
I feel like we've lost family values
as
a community, as a people. Like some they really valued the family setup. You would make a lady pregnant even if you don't love her, you just marry her. I feel like there were so many cases like that back in the day. And you know, people will really commit to it. You know, mnaandikiana barua hata mjaonana for long and things like nowadays.
Things have changed.
Squeeze unachelewa kidogo hivi. Mbona umenieka? That time there was patience was there, resilience was there.
Kama ilianza na ule Stella.
Squeeze ni ngumu bwana.
Tarehe 17 mwezi wa. Anyway, now when we're still on this conversation of when to introduce the topic of sex, are there differences when it comes to parenting boys and parenting girls and having this conversation? Is there a difference in how parents should go about, introducing this conversation to the boy child and introducing it to the girl child? Do you think there is a difference?
There is. Like right now, as a society, it's different. I feel like we are more protective of the girl child than the boy child. Because first of all, the consequences of when the girl child is pregnant is going to affect the family directly. Because she will give birth at home, it will be an extra food, mouth to feed, and maybe hataweza kwenda shule. The consequences are tougher on the girl child. So people are more focused on the girl child than the boy child. But right now we've seen in the society we are right now, even the boy child is at risk to, being molested and things like that. But we are more focused on the girl child. Like mostly it's I don't know if he can tell me, I don't know if men are warned as much as a girl, you're being told, cheze huko. But I feel like it's a bit lenient to the boy child.
Mimi niko na shida. Because you empower the girl child sana, unasahau the boy child. Na boy child ndio mwenye hii story. And I agree with her what she's saying. We are so concerned about the girl child. Tunasahau who is the cause. Utamwambia, alafu kuna story nyingine utamwambia anza kuuliza, "Ai mom, unanilenga nisiongee na huyu boy." "Ai mom." There are those things that pull each other. So the education that we are getting sometimes is being watered down for the girl child. Ile tumeongea sana inakuwa watered down by the peers. By the society vile iko. So I need to have a friend who is a boy. I'm a campaigner of boy child. And to me, my dear, we have reached a moment we must go back to empower the boy child. The boy child who had responsibility. The boy child who knew that if I go this extent, these are the consequences. Then I'll be in a position to protect your daughter. This boy child will be in a position to take responsibility and realize we'll not go this extent. But it's good to empower the girl child. But at what level? Is it over the advantage of the boy child? I'm even worried who will marry my daughter.
But then
because
whose responsibility
these boys
is
are
it? Whose responsibility is it? Because, we keep hearing that conversation of the girl child is being more empowered, the boy child is being forgotten. But if you get to look at, these empowerment programs that happen, it is ladies, elder women who are coming together deciding we're putting up this thing, we want younger women to come. So where are the men to do the same for the younger boys?
That's the call we need now. That's the call I am campaigning in this country. That's the call you're talking about the men. Where are the men? So that we stop pointing fingers. In the churches, where are the men? Can we talk about? Not about so much real life. Ile nikwe responsible too. You'll find there's so many young men who are not responsible outside there. Kuna statistics zingine zimetokea za ajabu even about the boy child. So we need really to empower, to start moving, not to forget about the boy child or to forget about the girl child. Both of them should work together. We should talk to them, both of them, so that they can realize you have a responsibility. It's only that sometimes when it comes to the sex issues, there are some things to the girl are seen. To the boy, they are not seen. To the boy, umemaliza story yako, umeondokea. But the girl carries some consequences. You see?
Forever.
Forever. It's a mark. na ina affect all the way.
Yeah.
But I need also to talk to my boy so that he does not bring such case to a certain girl. Because and I call to all men in this country, if I don't do that, even my daughter will be done the same. What goes around comes around. So I think it's a call.
Yeah.
I can even call it an altar call, that men will come out and talk to boys, talk to men. Let's go and play football with them. Let them start getting some values that tuko nazo.
Yeah.
Although even some men, sasa hata value hakuna. So unashangaa hata ni gani utapass. So but it is important.
Yeah.
It is important for us to go to that level.
All right. You can get to be part of the conversation. You can send in your messages via WhatsApp. The number is 0716-103-301. It's right there on your screens, 0716-103-301. I want to get to hear from you. Send in those messages so that I get to know. Have you already started that conversation with your child? If not, how are you intending to go about it? Or if you are not even planning to talk about it, also be open and let us know your reasons behind that. Getting back to our conversation, you know, as much as we're saying, yes, start these conversations early, we have to also understand or be of the realization that it can be awkward. Just as we are saying, it can be awkward for some parents, especially maybe I think the Gen X. Maybe for the millennials they're trying, but maybe for the Gen X and the other generations, it could be a bit awkward. For example, there is a child whose mother and father are not around. The guardian is the grandmother. Now, how does this grandmother start talking to their grandson about this? So sometimes it can be a bit awkward. So is there a way? Are there tricks? Are there tips into making it a bit less awkward?
Collective responsibility. I support churches. I support groups zile zina kunaga function because iko awkward. Sometimes you need to let other people speak to your children. And you speak to other people's children. Those events, let's go to church. And in the church, people, let's talk reality. Don't beat around the bush. Because I'm a Christian, I value the church. So I'll take my teenage to church. I'm expecting ile seminar umeletewa, you're hitting on the head. But if they don't do that, then inakuwa changamoto. But on the other side, I still need to take my responsibility. My responsibility to speak to them, even to speak to the girl, and to speak to the boy.
Another thing is I feel like we need to normalize sex conversations as a society. You know, nowadays the way we've normalized mental health talks, we need to really normalize it as well. Because one thing I know for sure, if you don't teach your child, if you don't talk to your child, TikTok will, Instagram will, Facebook, Snapchat, that shopkeeper will. And in the process of all this, your child could get misinformation. I remember back in the day when we were like teenagers, I remember a person, like one of the Ninio got pregnant, and the story was the guy told them if they do it standing, you won't get pregnant. So you know that kind of concept, misinformation. So I feel like we need to talk to our children ourselves so that we give them the right information, because people out there will not be as kind. And
also let's allow the child to belong to the community in a way. And the community could be your friends surrounding. Choose the right one. Because in the earlier time, the child, I belongs to the community, and you could tell me. Sai hatuwezi kaa by myself. I need you. You need to talk.
It takes a village to raise a...
we need it.
Takes a village.
I think let's start coming back. Coming back that this child belongs to the community. Teachers, church, you know, all those.
I'm sure right now in schools the sex education has been introduced, so it's part of the CBE, so that's at least a step. But now we need to also talk about it in our homes. We need to finalize on this conversation, and of course hatuwezi malizia, so probably we'll create some other time to get to continue with it. Maybe just parting shots, 30 seconds each. 30 seconds. Me
personally, I just want to urge parents that we need to normalize these conversations in our homes, starting from a very young age. Like age-appropriate conversations on sex education should be normalized.
All right, 15 seconds.
Kenyans, be part of the story. Don't be away. Then after that, you start pointing fingers. Be part of the story to talk about sex education. Be part of the story.
There you've had it from our panelists this morning. The conversation was on when to introduce the sex education conversation to your child. I am sure that you have gotten to pick a thing or two. Wale ambao bado mnasikia aibu, find someone else who can talk to your child. If you can't do it, akona anko yake fulani wamezoeana, akona auntie yake ambaye wanaelewana zaidi, let them do that for them. We'll get time to continue with this conversation. Right now, I have to finalize right here. My name is Vivian Dagwa. This is Good Morning Kenya. See you tomorrow, same time and place, God willing. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing. Goodbye.
Got the fear of missing out? Want to keep up with all the latest entertainment news and latest celebrity gossip? From the latest rumors to